Guys, I am so excited. You have no idea how excited I am to do this segment today. Today is the day we get to cover Birdie. Listen, Birdie drama is kind of old at this point, but if there is a time to do throwback segments, it's now. Like, drama nowadays is just it's fucking boring. Like, nowadays we got, like, the whole bricks and minifigs stuff, which, to be honest with you, I know a lot of people are into the whole bricks and minifigs situation. I personally just don't give a fuck. I like, it kind of just looks like whatever. It's kind of insane that it got as big as it did, but whatever. I mean, I'm glad people are enjoying it. Me personally, there's other content I want to make. I just don't find it interesting enough to cover. Anyway, yeah, we're doing a throwback segment. The best Birdie coverage that I've seen is Lord Crust's video on Birdie, and it's certainly a rabbit hole. And Birdie, yeah, they're an online art community, Lolcow, that's no longer on the internet. I hope they return one day, just because I want to make content off them. But listen, we better just jump right into it, right? Like, there's a lot to talk about. We'll get into the specifics the more we watch this.
Jack, aka Birdie, aka Damage Code 669.
Oh yeah, by the way, I did watch this video before. I think I should keep that in mind because, I mean, it's too good, right?
aka Lucifer, aka CityBear03's ex-roommate, is a YouTube animator who has had a tumultuous career on the platform since February of 2018, with the year of 2024 being no different, as I will outline in this video. He's known for bangers such as I'm Back or My Roommate Grew a 14-year-old, I Need Help.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, so when the Cinebear controversy happened, by the way, I do have videos covering Cinebear's controversy. Toastify made a decent video on the Cinebear controversy. I have a link to that. I think we also covered it in the behemoth of a video that Lord Crust made on Jar, and I watched all of it for the channel. There's a lot of different videos that I have on Cinebear, so if you search Cinebear, I'm sure you'll find it on my channel somewhere. I do have coverage of Cinebear. But yeah, I mean, what Cinebear did was pretty disgusting overall. They were 20 years old talking to a 14-year-old, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I have videos on it. They're just a gross person. It definitely is leaning on the side of it being grooming, for sure.
Which are incidentally the two videos.
And then Birdie made a video, the point that I was getting to, which I totally forgot because fucking ADHD brain or whatever. I don't even know if I have it, whatever. Birdie, they made the situation about themselves. They made a video and it was just like being like, oh my god, like they alleged sexual assault even though it wasn't actually sexual assault. It was just like a weird situation where like Cinebear was like poking their butt or whatever, and they said that they consented to it in the moment, but then they retroactively decided it was assault.
I'll be discussing in this video as they are relevant to what we care about. That being outlining how CityBear03, the self-admitted group, was not the only guilty party involved in that allegation. If you're interested in CityBear03's story, well, feel free to go back and watch my video about it. However, it's not necessary for this video as I will provide context when it's required. Anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at yet another example of what unrestricted internet access does to a motherfucker.
No kidding. Dude, when Lord Crust says unrestricted internet access, he is not kidding. Like, you will see as we get through this video.
And the next stepping stone.
I'm gonna try to give my commentary. I'm gonna try not to be performative about it, obviously, just because I have seen this video before, but, you know, just gotta still give commentary over the important parts as much as I can.
In the Just a Robot saga, the YouTuber and can of worms, Birdie.
I remember when I was 12 years old and I drew porn depicting pedophilia, and instead of being concerned or wondering if I was okay, everyone got mad at me for it, and it ended up being the first thing that canceled me in the public eye. Good times. You know I was groomed by Kitty Dog, right?
What the fuck? Who's a kitty dog?
Starts a conversation like that.
Although Birdie
True.
themselves is not generally considered an art commentary community creator, or ACC creator for short, his animations appear to be nestled into the same viewer base, subsequently having a multitude of mutual friends with CityBear03, both online and in real life. Well, for those of you who did not watch my last video, the art commentary community has a bit of an issue when it comes to degeneracy, with a basis in deviant art which is, as the name implies, mixed with a YouTube commentator whose audience primarily consists of children. You have a very unique powder keg.
I do remember DeviantArt from way back in the day. I think when I was, whatchamacallit, bro, how old was I? Bro, I must have been like, what, 13 or 14 when I had my DeviantArt account? Yeah, I think I was 13, actually, as a matter of fact. I was 13 on DeviantArt. I was just messing about. Yeah, DeviantArt was certainly a place of all time.
Despite the fact that their audience generally leans on the younger side of things, it's not uncommon for art commentary community creators to make crude depictions of darker or straight up immoral topics like gore, bestiality, rape, or self-harm. Combine
Yeah, that's certainly a fucking laundry list of topics to cover.
these factors with a Discord community that allows for 13-year-olds, and you get CineBear03, or more broadly, a grooming problem. Well, what about in regards to the topic of this video, Birdie? Well, it appears to me as if they're a victim of the unfortunately common grooming within the ACC, subsequently drawing PR art at age 12, which, as Birdie established, led to the first of many controversies.
Yeah, well, with the kitty dog controversy, it's like, I from my understanding of it, and I think Lord Crust is going to get into it, but I'm pretty sure Kitty Dog was like 14 years old and Birdie was 12, and they were all like sending porn to each other in the Discord. I'm like, oh, I don't care. Like, if you all are kids sending each other porn, that's like, that by itself is not grooming.
This claim was made
It's just like a bunch of kids fucking around on Discord. It's like, whatever.
in the aforementioned video, I'm Back, which is fucking 2 hours long. The video was released on April 15th, 2024, and answered the question of how Birdie and CineBear moved in together, as well as quite a few other questions I don't think anyone asked, but regardless.
So, you're probably a bit confused. Like, hey, why have I been gone so long? Why did I come back? And oh, Birdie trauma. That's a pretty weird thing that I've never talked about before. I'll get into all that juicy stuff in a bit, but first I'd like to properly introduce myself for the first time. Hi, my name is Jack, or Lucifer. My pronouns are he, it. I'm 19. I'm aroace and gay, ooh la la. My favorite colors are red, black, and yellow. I'm a demon kitty. I love rainbows and tacos and cats and—
I just, like, I think we need to, I'm not trying to be nasty to Birdie or whatever, but it's like, I don't know, Birdie. I feel like you're making yourself a target for MAGA, man. You're making yourself a fucking target for MAGA to be like, look how fucking crazy the left is. Like, you're going like, hey guys, I'm gay, I'm aroace, we're aroace maxing, I'm trans, I'm also non-binary, also call me Lucifer, call me the devil, and I have he, it pronoun. Like, I don't know, Birdie, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but pick a struggle. Like, listen, there's a lot of things on TikTok and, like, on the internet in general where people will put, like, pronouns, they'll put, like, their disabilities, they'll put their, like, fucking, they'll put anything in their bio just to get attention, and, like, that is a very common thing you'll see in a lot of far left spaces / TikTok spaces. And just to be clear, Birdie is absolutely the type of person to fucking put, like, their disabilities and their pronouns in their bio for attention.
randomness. I love scene and Decora K and emo, but that's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Not really. Is it actually obvious, or are you just, like, posing? I think you're a poser, Birdie. I don't think you're actually into emo or scene.
I have evil autism.
Evil autism? Whoa. What's the opposite? Is it good autism?
I love South Park.
Is there, like, a good kind of autism and a bad kind of autism? I guess there kind of is. You know, if you're, like, Daniel Larson levels of autism, you could be fucking seen as, like, I don't know, a target for a bunch of Lolcow harassment networks to go after you and troll the fuck out of you.
BoJack Horseman, Moral Oral, Doki Doki Literature Club, Miracle Musical, Milo Pony, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and other thingies. I have a kitty named Squirp. So during the making of this video, we got another cat, and I named her Stupid.
Are you beginning to see what I mean by can of worms? Oh, also those cats that he introduced, Squirp and Stupid, well, they will be extraordinarily relevant later, so keep those little fellas in mind. This video was released after a nearly 3-year-long hiatus, which was caused by those aforementioned controversies, with the video being recorded after Birdie had moved in with CineBear. Regardless, he opens the video by advertising his Twitter and warning viewers to be wary of gore.
Dude, every fucking time, there's, like, in these, like, weird online art spaces, or just, like, online edgy spaces in general, there's always, like, somebody with a fucking gore fetish. Every single one of these degenerate motherfuckers we talk about is always into gore to some capacity. Why, man? Why, dude? Like, what about gore turns you on?
Neat. Anyway, this shout out is followed by one of the most impressively long-winded trauma dumps I have ever witnessed. Seriously, it is at least 30 minutes long. Fuck, I mean, you could argue that the entire 2-hour-long video is just one long-winded trauma dump, but either way, Birdie prefaces the trauma dump with this.
If you are a member of my family watching this video, including my parents and grandparents, I kindly advise that you stop here. I do not wish to have you be part of my internet life because you have irreversibly hurt me, and I'm going to be straightforward and honest about the damage that you've done. You will be anonymous and safe from harm in my video. I ask you again, please stop watching.
Well, yeah, because if they somehow stumble upon your videos, that's gonna definitely make them want to stop watching if you're bad-mouthing them online.
If you wanted to hear about the ways that you've abused me, you would have listened to me a long time ago, or
Oh, by the way, guys, get used to Birdie saying abuse a lot.
reflected on your own actions. Okay, cool, bye, go away.
Oh, and he has the middle finger. Bro, you had, like, your fucking avatar be sassy and stick the middle finger. Very rebellious of you, Birdie.
Yeah, I think that sets the bar pretty high right off rip. Before I inject any more of my personal bias, let's just begin sifting through the mega trauma dump, shall we? Starting off with all of Birdie's mental and physical issues, Birdie just kind of sprinkles these in like little Easter eggs throughout his 2-hour-long video, so for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to compile them all here before we get...
It really makes you wonder how many of those issues are, like, actually real, right? Like, I feel like it's just, like, TikTok levels of, like, you know, issues. So, like, Birdie could be like, hey, guys, I have autism, I have ADHD, I go through all these other issues, but, like, how much of it is real? At a certain point, it feels like if you decided those when you were a kid, I don't know.
Get into the rest of it. Firstly,
I'm not trying to be an asshole, but it genuinely does feel like Birdie is just, like, saying those things just for attention and validation on the internet.
judging by his straw poll, Birdie has autism, ADHD, borderline personality disorder, and is on the schizophrenia spectrum.
No, wait, you have BPD and you have schizophrenia? Schizospec? What the fuck is schizo... There's a spectrum for schizophrenia? That's a thing? Brother, how I know this is I had an ex who had a schizophrenic mother. I didn't even know that there were spectrums of it. I guess it affects people differently? Is that what Birdie means?
He additionally claims to have psychosis, however later clarifies this to be referring to the schizophrenia spectrum diagnosis.
I would like to clarify that I was diagnosed with psychosis in September of 2023, so this is just something that I live with. I mean, I was diagnosed when I was 14 too, but like I was in denial about it for a long time, so like I just got diagnosed again. At the moment, I'm unsure what disorder in particular I have because I had to stop seeing my psychiatrist because I moved to another state, which I'll elaborate on in a little bit. He initially diagnosed me with depression with psychotic features.
Evil depression as well. It says on the corner here. It's evil depression. But what's the opposite of evil depression? Good depression? I don't think depression is ever good for anybody.
But as I elaborated on my symptoms, he realized it was something more severe and that I'm most likely schizospec. So at the moment, I just call it psychosis for convenience.
Further in the video, Birdie says,
I call it psychosis for convenience. I'm pretty sure that there is a difference, Birdie. I don't think we need to normalize self-diagnosis. I mean, again, it does seem like Birdie has a very consistent pattern of self-diagnosing. But, like, the levels of self-diagnosing Birdie is doing could actually be kind of dangerous.
They have depression and chronic anemia, which is actually not chronic anemia, but instead a undiagnosed heart condition. Yes, the health condition morphed mid-fucking video. The next condition Birdie claims having, I don't exactly know how to define based on Birdie's description. Birdie refers to it, or them I guess, as headmates.
I'm gonna be honest with all of you, I don't even know what Carol was. She wasn't an alter because she couldn't take control of my body, and she wasn't a tulpa or imaginary friend because she was not intentionally created. For simplicity, I will be calling her a headmate in this section. Similarly to the psychosis drama, this should have never been drama to begin with because it's weird to make a spectacle of a teen struggling with mental illness.
I feel like you kind of make a spectacle of it yourself. You like put yourself, the way you conduct yourself online, the way you put yourself out there, like, you're giving, like, people an excuse to make fun of you and make you a lolcow. Granted, nowadays, Birdie is, like, disappeared off the face of the earth after the whole Cinnabear controversy. But, like, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of seems like Birdie does it to themselves a lot.
and it absolutely made me worse.
I really do wish Birdie just came back to the internet. Bro, come back to the internet, Birdie. We want to see how Birdie is doing. Totally.
I wasn't attempting to, like, fake DID or anything. That was never
The fuck is DID? Is it disassociated something disorder?
my intention if it did come across that way. I don't have any active headmates at the moment, but I do have a history of them. Carol, Marilyn, Susie, Rero, Goofball, Playdate, and even Edgy Jack were all sentient beings with their own thoughts and emotions who originated from my brain. I really wish I had a concise conclusion or answer for this, but I don't. When Carol first appeared when I was 14, I went all the way to fucking Seattle Children's Hospital to see a psychiatrist, only for him to brush me off for being autistic and tell me that I have a vivid imagination and that it was just the autism.
Maybe. I mean, like, are you actually, like, hallucinating stuff? Like, is that what it is? Or do you... I don't know, man. It's a little bit confusing the way that Birdie describes it, admittedly. Like, I tried my best to follow along. And even though I've watched this a few times, I still try to follow along, and I still don't fully understand it. I guess Birdie really is, like, hallucinating it. That's, like, the best conclusion I can come to from that. But the way Birdie talks about it is so confusing.
No interest in discrediting Birdie's claimed conditions. There are plenty of better things to point out. That being said, however, I do have to say Birdie's description makes it sound like an X-Man superpower mutation or imaginary friends. He's never been diagnosed with anything in regards to it. In fact, the only professional he spoke to about it described it as autism mixed with an overactive imagination. According to Birdie, they aren't split personalities, it's not dissociative identity disorder, they are people that are sentient that are only in Birdie's head. I'm not tripping, right? Like, other than the sentience part, which I don't even know how to interpret, Birdie's just describing an imaginary friend. I mean, I guess they could be hallucinations, but then they would just be hallucinated friends, which still sounds like the same concept as imaginary friends, just less voluntary, I guess, but anyway. Oh, and also I wrote this big fuck off paragraph about what I believe to be the final of Birdie's health conditions that I'm yet to mention, or...
Chronic fatigue?
More specifically...
I mean, isn't chronic fatigue supposed to be from depression? Like, that's, like, a huge thing when it comes to people who, like, suffer, like, depression. Like, nothing excites them anymore, nothing excites them for long periods of time. That's my interpretation of that.
Chronic fatigue, but the video was already long as shit, so I'm not gonna read that. If you give a shit, you can. I thought it was at least worth addressing because I have seen people question Birdie's chronic fatigue diagnosis. However, in my opinion, there are far more dubious elements of Birdie's story, which I will establish later. First, though, I'm gonna speedrun some of the allegations against Birdie from that aforementioned tumultuous career, because I don't exactly feel like litigating shit that happened when this person was a teenager, but I feel like I'd be foolish not to at least mention some of it. Oh, also, there is a hell of a lot more conjecture in this video when in comparison to the rest of my content, and that is because for most of this, we only have one side of the story with next to no evidence. However, I will clearly specify when something I'm saying is a conclusion or opinion based on limited information. Anyway, to begin the speedrun, here's Birdie talking about those aforementioned controversies from when he was a child and teenager.
So, I am notoriously known for not being good at interneting. Like, emotional outbursts.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. You're good at interneting. You've been on DeviantArt since you were a little fucking kid. Listen, I grew up as a terminally online fuck as well. I'm trying to change that, by the way. I'm doing my best to try to make improvements to my life. I'm still a little bit terminally online. I'd like to think that I'm not as terminally online as I used to be, but I know what it's like growing up as a terminally online kid saying, like, I'm not as good at internet. Stop it, Birdie. You know what you're doing, all right? And knock it off.
Constant venting, oversharing personal information, things like that. The reason I joined the internet in the first place at 11 years old is because I wasn't loved at home, and I was being abused at school, too.
Wait, how are you being abused at school? How does that work? Is, like, a fucking teacher grooming you or something?
Warped view,
or like somebody's like that's a very oddly specific thing that's happening, being abused at school.
Of the internet, only being a child, and I believe that all of my viewers would act as friends.
Well, yeah, that explains a lot.
Wait, didn't Birdie say, like, earlier in this video that somebody else was being abused? I forget, like, who specifically they said was abusing them, but they said that they were going through abuse. So they're the victim of grooming, they're the victim of many different disorders, and now they're the victim of abuse from two different people. Interesting. We already have a long list of things that Birdie's a victim to, which sucks if they're true.
We've already established there is an admittedly dark likelihood that the root, or at least a factor for Birdie's erratic behavior, shall I say, is some of the stuff that I'm outlining in this segment from Birdie's developmental years. As I'll attempt to outline in this video, the issue is that Birdie uses this mistreatment as a justification for him to do immoral acts to others.
I've decided to come out here and talk about what happened today because the vast majority of the controversy surrounding me is false, and I believe a lot of you are simply misled or confused about the information. My therapist told me about a concept once that really stuck with me. It's called the curse of knowledge bias. She explained to me that although I know that Birdie drama consists of lies and exaggerations, and I know that my parents abused me, and I know that my ex-friends are lying
So your parents abused you as well.
about
Interesting. So Birdie is the victim of abuse from like 3 different sources, to my understanding. 2, 3,
me and trying to publicize personal issues, and I know that I've been taken advantage of by everybody involved in this. Nobody.
I mean, I don't know. Like, would a therapist really... I'm gonna replay this segment because, like, I do want to listen to, like, what the therapist said. Because, like, the therapist said that, like, I wouldn't doubt that they, like, talked about... Like, I've been in therapy sessions before, like, a couple years ago. I wouldn't doubt that the therapist said that, like, Birdie has, like, this curse of knowledge bias. But I think everything that Birdie says after that is a little questionable. So I'm gonna listen to it again.
And I believe a lot of you are simply misled or confused about the information. My therapist told me about a concept once that really stuck with me. It's called the curse of knowledge bias. She explained to me that although I know that Birdie drama consists of lies and exaggerations, and I know that my parents abused me, and I know that my ex-friends are lying about me and trying to publicize personal issues, and I know that I've been taken advantage of by everybody involved in this.
I mean, would a therapist really say all that information? I don't know if I believe, because, like, the way therapy works is you go to a therapy session, and when you let them know or you open up about trauma, they are trained to not over-validate or under-validate your feelings. If you do either of those things, that can be like an additional trauma that you can assign to somebody. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Therapeutic processes can be very slow for many people. And so when you're opening up about your trauma, I don't really know if I buy the fact that they're like, oh, hey, yeah, Birdie drama is fake or whatever, and you've been taken advantage by all these people, and, like, you know, you've been abused by your parents. Like, I don't know if I believe that. That's a little bit tough to believe.
Nobody else knows, and I'm frustrated because you cannot see what's so obvious to me. Let me be clear, I still do not want anything to do with Birdie drama. I would not like this drama to be continuously dragged on going forward.
Yeah, sorry about that, Birdie. Also, did you catch that? I swear they need therapists who specialize in dealing with terminally online freaks, because I swear this is not the first time I've heard of a therapist gassing up their client to post something online because the internet just doesn't know the abuse they've endured.
Yeah, I don't know. That just seems, like, not believable.
Yeah, I don't think I can wholly blame the therapist. If this video that I'm talking about is any indication, then Birdie likely wasn't providing the therapist with the most accurate, unbiased retelling of events.
That's also another good point. I kind of forgot about that, where Birdie could potentially be, like, telling a very curated story to their therapist, and, like, you're not going to get the help that you actually need. You're just going to have the therapist glaze you, basically. I don't know. Like, it's important to not omit any information to your therapist and try to let them in as much as they can, as you can, so that way that they can help you the best way that they possibly can, and you're getting the correct help, not just help that's, like, glazing you, that makes you feel better about yourself. It's important to do that.
Was displayed later. But anyway, Birdie ended up elaborating on that first controversy with Kitty Dog.
If you aren't aware of who Kitty Dog is, which would be shocking if you weren't, she's this super duper...
I don't know, Birdie. You gotta educate the non-terminally online on this Kitty Dog person. Ow! And you're listening to Galaxy News Radio.
Popular...
That's 3 Dog, not Kitty Dog. Wrong dog!
Animation memer who makes very sexual videos.
Whoa, and by the way, Kitty Dog is the person that Birdie mentioned earlier in this video that said that they groomed them. So this is very interesting information that Birdie is leading us with.
I'm totally not surprised that this happened. And when I was 11 to 12 years old, she was basically my idol. I made a shit...
Oh, great.
a ton of videos about her, and she commented on them asking me to join Discord, and you can see where this is going.
Yeah, they're DMing each other. Oh, by the way, Kitty Dog at this time is 14 years old. They are 14 in 2017, and oh my god. Wow, that's your name, Birdie. Desolate Old F-slur. I think should I censor this? Well, I think Birdie said that they're gay, so I think it's fine. I'm not going to censor it here just because I think Birdie's gay, and if anybody could say the F slur, I guess it's Birdie. We gotta give Birdie a pass here, surely. Stuff. Also, I'm 12 because, yes, oops, I got wrong. That's fine. What that beak do? Yeah, also, yeah, Kitty Dog is 14 years old. Yeah, I don't really care about 14 and 12. Like, is it appropriate for a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old to be, like, talking section? I don't know, maybe it's like slightly, like, I guess worst case scenario, maybe it's a little inappropriate, but I don't really care that much about a 2-year age gap, generally speaking. And also, you guys are a bunch of kids sending each other, like, talking sexually and sending each other porn online. Like, it's like, whatever. I don't know.
Anyways, this shouldn't have been drama in the first place, but Kitty Dog encouraged me to make drawings like those, and that's why they exist. I know a few of you are probably
Hold up. What the? Oh my god.
Kitty Dog encouraged me to make drawings.
What the fuck? I hate forcing myself to fall in love, but I have to do it because subjecting people to my toxic love would hurt too much. Okay.
Like those, and
so you guys are emo posting a little bit.
That's why they exist.
Are you okay? Kinda. Why? I don't know if someone makes Rule 34 of me and Sans. Someone makes Rule 34 of me and Sans is concerned. Oh, is that the fucking, Cinnabear? Did you know Cinnabear way back in the day? Nah, it's normal. You should draw Rule 34 of you and Sans. Wait, no. Draw Rule 34 of you and me. No, wait, I'll do it.
I know a few of you are probably going to say this as
whoa, this is the grooming tactic.
Sort of counter-argument, so I'd like to acknowledge it. The age gap wasn't, like, huge. I was 12 and she was 14.
Again, I don't care. I'm not using this as, like, a justification for you to do freaky-ass shit with kids. But, like, kids are fucking horny gooners online, bro. I was, like, blasting my shit to fucking Charlie Cooper when I was, like, 15, alright? Like, kids are nasty fucking gooners online. They explore that shit. I'm not saying that you should. I'm not saying we should even normalize it. But, like, I don't know. I think that, like, a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old sending each other fucking porn is, like, whatever to me.
But, like, let's not get caught up in the logistics of grooming. I am not misusing the word.
Well, you would be misusing the word because you aren't being groomed here.
I can confidently say that this is what this was.
I don't know. A 14-year-old grooming a 12-year-old? I don't buy it. Like, that just doesn't sound like a thing that's most likely to happen.
Another thing to bring into consideration...
It just doesn't feel like that's what grooming is. I feel like it's a little bit, you're doing a disservice to people who have actually been through grooming, right?
That apparently Kitty Dog was also being groomed during this time period, but this still doesn't excuse her behavior. Especially when we consider COCSA to be a trauma response, which stands for Child-on-Child Sexual Abuse. And yes, sexual abuse can be accounted for under messaging like Kitty Dog did.
Yeah, but, like, you guys are both kids sending each other sexual messages. This is not a form of sexual abuse.
I'm aware of the fact people are still going to defend Kitty Dog in this situation, but at least acknowledge the impact this had on me as a kid.
Well,
I don't know. That seems a little bit fishy. Also, by the way, Birdie talked about, like, earlier in this video, Birdie talked about, like, drawing tons of, like, pedophile art and, like, gore art as a child or whatever. But then now you're saying that, like, it has an impact on kids. By the way, I do agree with the fact that kids are horny gooners online, but it's like at a certain, like, do you have a trauma or not, right? Like, either kids get fucking traumatized by this shit when they're exposed to it, or they explore it, right? Like, which one is it?
Isn't that just sickening? Yeah, so this community is so depraved that you end up with some kind of fucked up game of telephone where these minors end up regurgitating fringe adult concepts to each other that they either found online or from someone who realistically should have jail time. Likely someone who actually fulfills both those categories, to be honest. Anyway, the other person involved, Kitty Dog, is a YouTube creator with 600k subscribers accrued from her furry animation content. What's especially notable to us, however, is that in February of 2024, so a few months before Birdie released his I'm Back video, Kitty Dog released a document that outlined all of her wrongdoing as a teenager. Kitty Dog seemingly attempted to genuinely apologize for her actions, taking accountability and swearing to improve her behavior.
Whatever it is, I don't care. As long as they're not doing this to, like, actual kids and repeating that pattern of behavior into their adulthood, I really don't give a fuck about what they did when they were 14 years old. I don't think anybody does.
Now, whether she actually followed through with this, I don't know. And it's very possible that I either don't or do end up addressing her in future content. What I do know, however, is that despite being 6 times Birdie's channel size, Kitty Dog is, as far as I'm concerned, a hell of a lot less controversial on the internet, with her document being received relatively positively.
There was a huge power dynamic. Kitty Dog was aware of the power she had over me, being a massive creator that I looked up to, and I was not old enough to consent to.
Shut the fuck up. Alright, I'm so fucking sick of this argument. I'm so tired of people being like, oh my god, power dynamic. Like, they were a content creator, I was a smaller content creator, there's power dynamics exist in every fucking relationship. Alright, there's power dynamics between, like, a woman who's, like, fatter than a skinny guy or whatever. She could probably beat the shit out of him or something. Or vice versa. If there's a fat man dating a fucking skinny woman, he could beat the living shit out of her, right? Like, that's a power dynamic that exists. Doesn't mean that they're being abusive, because they're not acting upon that power dynamic.
These things. I was 12.
Yeah, do you know who else was?
Alright, well, are they saying, hey, if you do or don't do something for me, I'll do this to you? Like, are they actively abusing that power dynamic? That's the only time the power dynamic is valid, is if they're actively leveraging their power and they're abusing that power dynamic. Tectone's a good example of an abuse of a power dynamic. He was basically paying rent money for Pink Chew if she gave him blowjobs, basically.
Wasn't able to consent, Birdie. Despite being 2 years older, Kitty Dog wasn't able to consent.
Yeah, again, you both are kids online sending each other freaky ass shit. Who cares?
Additionally, I do not think a 500k subscriber difference, or whatever it was at the time, creates a power dynamic. It's not like Birdie's channel or career was directly tied to Kitty Dog's, and it's not like Kitty Dog was employing Birdie. From what I can tell, the significant difference between how Birdie and Kitty Dog responded to relatively similar allegations is what dictates their broadly differing public reception. Well, that and their pre-established reputations, of course. More specifically, both Birdie and Kitty Dog are victims of grooming. However, Kitty Dog acknowledged—
I mean, is Birdie really a victim of grooming? They're talking to a fucking 14-year-old, and they're 12 years old. It doesn't... Like, I feel like it's impossible for a 14-year-old to groom anybody. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
This and took fault for her actions in the document. Birdie, in the months after, attempted—
I guess technically there's like a very specific scenario where a 14-year-old maybe could groom a 12-year-old if they were like really trying to manipulate the fuck out of him, but I don't know about that. It feels so unlikely given the circumstances.
Piggyback off of Kitty Dog's explanations, applying them to himself while simultaneously attempting to attach all of the fault to Kitty Dog, who, let me remind you, was a 14-year-old at the time. Both of these people are adults now. They could potentially be excused for their depraved actions as a child, but that does not allow them to continue the behavior or attempt to justify it as an adult, which Kitty Dog has seemingly not done, while Birdie has. It's just an absurd—
Yeah, I would generally agree with that.
double standard that Birdie is applying, and it's all seemingly with the justification that he was the youngest party involved by 2 years, which in my opinion is not a substantial enough age gap to reasonably apply that double standard. To be clear—
Yeah, again, also, it just doesn't make any sense that, like, Birdie... Like, they say that they're traumatized by all the fucking porn Kitty Dog showed them, but then they proceed to say that, hey, I drew pedophile and gore art as a child, so it just makes no fucking sense to me. Like, you clearly don't have a trauma, then.
By the way, judging by the evidence that Birdie presents, it does seem as if Kitty Dog, at minimum, encouraged Birdie to draw sexualized art when Birdie was very clearly uncomfortable with the idea, which is fucked. I don't know if I'd necessarily describe it as grooming, but it's definitely bad, okay? My issue is that we're supposed—
I don't know. They're both fucking kids talking online about weird shit.
to give Birdie so much leniency due to his various physical and mental conditions or traumatic past, why does the same standard not apply to a 14-year-old Kitty Dog?
This led to the first time I got into big internet drama, and Kitty Dog completely threw me under the bus when this went down, despite encouraging me to draw art like this prior to it being publicized.
Oh my god, and that's part of the grooming tactic now. So, okay. We're a victim of grooming, we're a victim of abuse by like 2 to 3 other parties, we're a victim of all these like mental disorders and everything, like, I don't know. Like, we're gonna get into it as we go through this, obviously, we're gonna get into more specifics, but Birdie has a bit of a victim complex, and we're seeing like the early stages of it. We're not even like halfway through this video, and like we can already see Birdie has kind of got a bit of a victim complex.
She essentially made fun of me for being harassed while still pretending to be my friend.
What the fuck? Birdie is just acknowledging with a text edit on screen that what he's saying in the audio is fucking delusional. And
Holy shit, sorry. This part of my BPD brain misremembering things. Please ignore me at this part. Well, at that point, why didn't they just, like, edit it out then? Like, if they thought what they were saying was, like, fucking stupid or unhinged, wouldn't they just, like, edit it out then? Clearly, they wanted us to still see that part of the video then, especially considering the fact that it's an animated video, so we're only hearing your voice. I don't think anyone would notice if you just edited out the part where you're talking about this stuff.
He didn't think to edit it out. To be specific, in the audio, Birdie is very clearly stating that when allegations against him came out, Kitty Dog threw him under the bus and made fun of him. This, however, as Birdie's text edit acknowledges, is blatantly false because Kitty Dog never even addressed Birdie's allegations. Do you know what's even crazy though? This is far from the most absurd claim that Birdie makes in defense of him drawing art as a child.
I think the drama that resulted from this is pretty funny sometimes because the main argument that ranters use is that it was illegal for me to draw porn at 12 years old.
Well, I don't know if it would be illegal, per se, for a fucking 12-year-old to be drawing porn. Maybe in other countries it is. Not here in the US, though. Like, a kid could draw that stuff and be fine. I will say, it's certainly, like, a red flag. Like, if I noticed my kid was drawing, like, pedophile fetish art or whatever, I would be a little bit concerned. I'd be like, listen, kiddo, the fuck are you drawing? This is inappropriate as shit. I would definitely intervene in some way if this was my kid.
I'm sorry, but have you ever met a 12-year-old that hasn't drawn porn? If that were illegal, we'd live in some sort of dystopian society where anyone under the age of 18 would be locked up.
But guys, Kitty Dog was like sending me this fucking porn and shit. It was traumatizing me and I didn't know anything. What the? So which one is it, Birdie? Come on.
What
Pick a fucking struggle.
the fuck are you talking about, you deranged freak? I would be shocked and pretty concerned if I even met a 12-year-old who's drawn porn in my fucking lifespan.
Oh, I have. Plenty of them. When I was on DeviantArt, there was a lot of them, unfortunately. Maybe unrestricted internet access is a bad thing after all, though, I guess. Maybe Lord Crust probably had better parents than I did. Nah, I'm just kidding. My parents were amazing people. They still are, by the way, just to be clear. But clearly Lord Crust and I had better parents than a lot of these people on DeviantArt did. It's probably a better way to frame it.
If that doesn't show you how skewed this Birdie fella's perspective of the world is, I don't know what will. He needs to have a, at minimum, 10-year-long internet detox or some shit. That's not even taking into account the relationship that Birdie had with a 13-year-old when he was 16.
I've decided to rewrite this section last minute because the situation I'm about to describe is more morally gray than I remembered it being.
Oh, great.
And requires more nuance on my part.
So it's interesting. When Birdie is the victim of a bad thing that happens, it's like the worst possible label you can attach to it. But the moment there's allegations of Birdie talking to a 13-year-old at the age of 16, that's like more morally gray. Suddenly nuance exists now, guys. Nuance didn't exist before. Nuance exists now, though.
To explain it. In 2021, I went through my breakup. This breakup alone put me into another psychotic state where I was essentially dissociating 24/7 and became—
Oh my god, disassociating, bro. Everything is a fucking buzzword. Grooming, abuse, BPD, disassociative, like everything is a fucking buzzword. Oh my god.
Became unable to make proper judgment anymore. Exactly 5 days after said breakup, I was asked out by my former friend Draggy, who was 13.
Oh my god.
I was 16, and it was my responsibility as the older person to turn them down.
Sure, and you know what? Listen, my thoughts on 16 and 13, I think 16 and 13 is inappropriate, and it definitely shouldn't be happening. I don't think on its own that makes you a predator, but, like, it sounds to me like the build-up for this situation that you're about to say is gonna be, like, some weird justification of, like, oh my god, I was not in the right headspace and I couldn't turn them down or whatever. That's like the priming that you're doing to try to justify what you did. And again, the selective nuance here is fucking insane.
But because of the mental state I was in, I was unable to make the right decision.
Oh my god.
They were entirely aware of the mental state I was in.
Bro, come on! It's the 13's fault, guys. The 13-year-old knows the answer to life and everything in the universe. It's 42, by the way. Come on! You should have known better. You should have known I was in this horrible state. Why did you ask me out, 13-year-old? Tisk, tisk, tisk.
I addressed my worries with us dating, but they insisted that they wanted to date me,
Oh, great. We're making this into a problem that it very obviously isn't.
so I agreed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm supposed to accept that Birdie got manipulated by a 13-year-old when he was 16, while simultaneously claiming that Kitty Dog is a horrible person for taking advantage of a 2-year age gap when Kitty Dog was 14 and Birdie was 12. I don't know if I've ever seen it before, but Birdie has managed to make a double standard. Anyway, this segment was supposed to be—
Yeah, I mean, very clearly, nuance only exists when they're accused of something. Again, I still think that 16 and 13's inappropriate, and, like, I would say it's kind of on the fault of the parents for not separating this situation from happening. On its own, I don't think it makes Birdie a predator, just it should never have happened. But then Birdie tried to make it into something that it very obviously wasn't. And it's just, at that point, stop. Alright, stop. Knock it off. Like, you're trying to make it seem like the 13-year-old was grooming you, and that's ridiculous. Stop.
a speed run, so I'm going to move on to the next notable incident that Birdie mentions that I don't bring up later in this video. More specifically, I'm referring to an argument that was live streamed between Birdie and his mother about Birdie doxing himself as well as his family because he wanted to die or something. I don't know, it's fucking deranged.
There are 2 livestream clips from 2017 of me threatening suicide to my dad, and another of my mom confronting me for giving out my address to somebody online.
Well, that's, yeah, threatening suicide is not good. If I heard my kid was threatening that, that'd be heartbreaking and really concerning, so don't do that.
I'm not gonna play either of these clips because they were of me as a child being put in abusive situations.
Bro, everything is abuse to Birdie. Everything. It's like every single situation that Birdie will apply abuse to, Birdie is gonna say that it's an abusive situation.
And having an emotional response, so they're deeply triggering for me.
Damn. It's deeply triggering.
But these clips are out there, and you can search for them if you want, I guess.
So, here's some 7-year-old footage of that. I'm only going to play a small amount of the 10 total minutes, but I can assure you that both parties involved, that being Birdie and his mother, maintain about the same demeanor the whole way through.
My mom is coming down here, hold on.
Did you just give our address to Doge Dust?
No.
Did you give our address to anybody online?
No.
So wait, Birdie's retelling of this is kind of inaccurate because they say that, like, Birdie's mom... Birdie said that it was his mom that gave the address out, but then that doesn't make any sense because why is the mom confronting Birdie about the address going out into the public?
Tell me the truth.
No.
My God. Why?
Could you go upstairs?
No.
I'm in the middle of
Tell me
something.
the
Mom,
truth.
go away.
No, I want to know.
Please.
I'm disappointed.
I'm in the middle of
I want
something.
to know.
Mom, I'm in the middle of drawing my furry porn. Stop it! Stop it, Ma! I want to draw my furry porn!
Did you give our address to somebody?
Shut.
Bro!
Did you?
Dude, if I told my mother to shut up, that's it. Like, that's it. I'm cooked. Like, that's it. I wouldn't hear the end of it. It would be, like, that's it. My mom would fucking smack the shit out of me. And I would deserve it, to be fair. Because she didn't do anything to warrant that. She works her ass off for the family.
There are people here.
I need to know if you did that.
I will tell you after this.
No,
Okay.
not after now.
Mom, just
Dad's up there right
there are
now.
people watching this.
I need to know if you gave our address to somebody on the internet.
Yeah, so it feels like Birdie just, like, blatantly misrepresented that entirely. Because, like, Birdie was saying it was the mom that gave out the address, but it wasn't. It's the other way around. I think Birdie did, and then they tried to, like, find a weird excuse for it.
I need to know that, and Dad does too. He's waiting up here.
Hold on, there are people
No, just
watching.
answer the question.
Why do you need to know?
Did you or didn't you?
Why do you need to
That
know?
is against the rules of our
It
internet.
was a long time ago.
When
It was a long time ago. So it was you that gave out the address then, Birdie. It was you. Fucking liar.
I don't know, but it was a
I
long
need
time
to know.
ago. Could you please go
the internet
upstairs?
is shutting it off right now.
Hold on!
You need to be
Stop!
honest with me.
Please
Or
go
no.
upstairs. You're gonna know.
It's yes or
People
no.
are watching this.
And if you did, we call the police right now, and they're gonna come take all this.
Mom,
That's
you
illegal.
go.
That's illegal.
You go.
Tell me if you did.
Mom, just one moment.
You did, didn't
Please.
you?
Mom.
Oh my god, every fucking time I watch this, every time, it never gets old. Never gets old.
The truth. One moment. Just tell me. Please. You're not understanding. No, you don't. It wasn't recently out. How am I supposed to know? It was a long time ago. I don't know. I want you to finish talking to your friends, and then you come upstairs and talk to Dad and I. No, I can't do that. Yeah. I gave our last name away. That's enough. And now
Bro, the disrespect to Mama Birdie. Bro, you can't say that's enough to your mother. That's disrespectful.
go upstairs.
It's fucking disrespectful. Imagine saying that to your Hispanic mother as well. I don't think Birdie's Hispanic. You're lucky you're not as Hispanic. You're lucky this also ain't the fucking 80s. If you said that's enough to your mother, you would... Bro, Birdie, you wouldn't have a back of your head anymore. The back of your head would cease to exist.
Don't. Just go, okay? That's very dangerous. I'm in the middle of something really important. Alvina just told me that you right?
I can't with the fucking yelling.
Do not speak to Alvina. You go upstairs. I'm in the middle of something.
I'm in the middle of my furry porn. This is so important, Ma. Stop it.
How did she
Wow, isn't that crazy? Seems as if Birdie's description of his mother coming in and abusively screaming at him over the doxing incident is an extraordinarily inaccurate retelling of events.
Very. Like, it's hardly abusive, if at all.
And
Wow, who would have guessed that, like, Birdie's retelling of abuse is not actually abuse? They just think it's abuse because I don't know. They think it's abuse. Any inconvenience Birdie has is a form of abuse.
Might even argue the opposite of what actually happened. Yes, his mother did indeed threaten to call the police. However, unlike Birdie, she wasn't screaming about it and...
Bro, Birdie's the kind of like, if you said that Birdie was gay, like, let's just say you used gay as a pejorative, which you shouldn't do, by the way, but let's just say you called Birdie gay as a pejorative. Birdie would be the type to take that and be like, I was abused, or whatever. It's like some fucking Ghost Arcade shit.
Came off as extraordinarily reasonable to me. As Birdie has already made clear, his parents are at minimum in their 40s and they prescribed QAnon, so
oh yeah, they're more conservative leaning. Yeah, that, I mean, that probably is true. There is also a conversation to have about having too many kids, because, like, apparently Birdie's parents are, like, they have 7 kids, which is definitely too many kids to have, and, like, I think there's a valid conversation to have about having too many kids to take care of. I would say, like, at maximum, maybe, like, 4 kids is, like, a good, like, if you want to have a lot of kids, 4 kids at maximum is good enough. Like, anything beyond that is definitely, like, it's a lot for parents to deal with.
can't imagine they're the most
It's a lot of raw dogging in the bedroom for that to happen.
Technologically literate. As Birdie also made clear, however, they had been receiving harassment online with their full names and addresses being dropped by Birdie's detractors. With that sort of equation, if you were Birdie's parents, who else would you go to other than the police if your son, who caused the fucking problem, is screaming at you and being uncooperative because he wants to do his really important task of drawing art on stream with his Discord buddies? One of those aforementioned Discord buddies was even attempting to tell Birdie to settle down and listen to his mother.
Listen to your mom. Listen to your mom.
I mean, for fuck's sake, Birdie's mom even gives Birdie the option to finish up what he was doing first and then come upstairs to talk to his parents about the issue. If my hypothetical future kid doxed me, I'm shutting that fucking stream down ASAP. Anyway, continuing on.
Yeah, probably. It's also, like, I feel like it's, like, on the parents to teach your children proper internet etiquette.
Birdie's video, he proceeds to bring on his trans Latino friend in order to defend Birdie for his self-admitted
Great. Trans Latino.
transphobia.
We love trans people. We love Latinos and Latinas, but in this online space, it's like, how accurate is your identity, really? Because it feels like a lot of these people just, like, slap these identities on for attention.
Racism.
Because I wanted to help him word it in a way that made sense, because not only am I a trans person too, but I'm also, you know, Latino, so...
You're a kid. Alright, shut up. You're a kid. Online.
I feel like my word has a bit more holding than his because he's a little cracker.
And then
Wow, that's crazy.
Birdie goes on to talk.
Don't tell Chud the Builder that, or don't tell any of MAGA that, because you're gonna offend MAGA and you're gonna make them cry. Because they only care when white people have something bad happen to them, not when people of other marginalized groups get shit on.
About his ferret.
This is a rumor I would especially like to disprove because my ferret Chara passed away in November of 2022, and I don't want my baby girl to be remembered that way. So, there's this screenshot that my ex spread around of me saying I sexually abused my ferret. Of course, if this was true, that would be fucking deplorable, and holy shit, you'd have to send me to jail. Straight to jail. That would be it. You'd have to lock me up and throw away the key, guys.
I agree.
But...
Hey guys, I didn't sexually assault my ferret. But... There should never be a but after that sentence. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you listen.
But? Wait, what do you mean but?
There's a shit ton of context missing from this.
Oh no. Wait, there's additional context. That's a yes or... Birdie, that's one of those allegations where it's a yes or a no. Did you do it or not? Like, that's really what it comes down to.
Admittedly, I didn't mention this in the screenshot, but the reason this happened is because I was groomed into it when I was...
Oh, okay. So, guys, I was groomed by a 14-year-old. I was groomed by a 13-year-old while I was older than that 13-year-old. Now we have a third groomer. Who's this groomer? We got, like, dude, at this point, we might as well be hiring them. I might as well buy a dog and give them my fucking dog if we're grooming this much.
I was 13 years old. I don't have proof of this because I lost the DMs with my groomer, nor do I even want to find them. I don't even want to say his name because this was the most traumatic time that I was groomed. I've been groomed several times, obviously, but...
Yeah, clearly. By your definition of it.
This was the worst, and I don't want to talk about it for that long publicly.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it because I got groomed into shoving a ferret up my ass, because that's what that was. And also trying to do teen ants with your ferret. So basically, teen ants, a lot of people are not going to be familiar with what the term teen ants means, but teen ants, I believe, is just slang for oral sex in these, like, online spaces. So they tried to do oral sex with their ferret. It's very weird.
Thing I'd like to point out
at the age of 13,
which is,
like, I don't know, I would say that if a 13-year-old is trying to do that with their ferret, that's a behavioral issue and the parents need to fucking do something about that immediately. And also, an even more concerning thing is, why the fuck are you talking about this at the age of 20? Because I believe Birdie, at this time when they made this video, they were like either 19 or 20. Why are you fucking telling us about this? This is shit that, like, you take to the grave. You never tell anybody about this.
Most as important as the grooming context is that right in the screenshot I said I didn't even go through with it. Like, it never even happened. I just prepared to do it because I was 13 and I was told to. This was extremely traumatic for me, which is why, despite the fact that these accusations were hurting me more than any of the ones before this, I didn't address it publicly. After this happened, I would cry every time I saw my ferret, and I had reoccurring nightmares about this. I was a victim in this situation, and so was Chara.
Chara, or Kara, whatever, Chara, I think, is, they got that name from Undertale, probably because Undertale was very popular in online art spaces, is the name of the ferret. Yeah, me too, Lord Crust. I looked back at my computer monitor, and I saw Lord Crust was making this face. Me too. Me too, right after this story.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah!
So, here's that screenshot that he was referring to.
I warn you, I regret this awfully, and I genuinely have no idea why I did that. When I was 13, I was being manipulated by Maddie. I have no fucking idea why, but when my family left the house, I tried to make Chara do teen ants on me, so oral sex. That's fucking nasty. I'm so upset at 13-year-old me. I didn't go through with it. Yeah, it's just, again, this is a behavioral issue, and, like, the parents should have been fucking monitoring Birdie a lot better to make sure that they're not doing this. But, like, holy shit, dude. Again, why talk about this so openly?
And according to Urban Dictionary, teen ants refers to oral sex. So he attempted to fuck his ferret, Chara, in the mouth at age 13. However, claims he was groomed into it, yet doesn't have any evidence of this grooming.
And again, we can't really take Birdie's retelling of what grooming or abuse is seriously, considering that it's a buzzword to them. Birdie was groomed by a 14-year-old at the age of 12. They were groomed by a 13-year-old at the age of 16, and now they're groomed by this person to try to mouth fuck a ferret, basically, and to shove the ferret up their ass.
What there is evidence for, though, is other forms of animal abuse, such as Birdie swinging the ferret around, or Chara losing her color in her fur over the course of a year due to being underfed, which is anyone really surprised? Birdie
Yeah, so Birdie was neglecting their ferret, basically.
can't even feed himself, although it does make me a bit questionable of why his parents didn't step in and do something about it.
I really do wonder. Like, I feel like a huge part of it is because, like, their parents are just, like, had too many fucking kids. And it's hard to be the parent of 7 kids. That's a lot of kids to be having.
Especially considering these messages from Birdie in which he claims that Chara's cage got filled with maggots a few times. Speaking of Chara's cage, as far as I'm concerned, it was far too small. According to my research...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure for a ferret's cage, you're supposed to give them, like, a cage of, like, multiple, whatchamacallit, like, levels, so that they can climb stuff. Whereas, the fucking ferret cage was, like, not even close to that.
aka roughly 3 Google searches. A ferret cage should ideally be a couple...
Yeah, this right here. There's, like, a staircase, there's, like, a little hole that they can climb up. That's what their cage should look like, but instead it wasn't that.
square feet in diameter, as well as potentially multiple floors tall. This is a hamster cage, at best. This was the point that ferrets are not supposed to be kept as pets alone. They are generally kept in pairs, as ferrets are supposedly a very sociable animal. I mean, other than sexually or physically abusing the ferret, I can't really blame 13-year-old Birdie for underfeeding the ferret, not getting a second one, or giving it too small of a cage. That does seem more like negligence on behalf of Birdie's parents, although it could be explained, not necessarily justified, by ignorance. I mean, I personally had no idea how to raise a ferret before this segment, but I wasn't really intending on getting one, so I think that about wraps up the speedrun. I mean, other than the grooming claims that I will address later after the Cinny Bear 03 stuff. Anyway, with that being said, let's go into part 2 with Birdie's life story in the video I'm Back.
Fuck work anyways, it's not like I'm physically or mentally capable enough to uphold a job in the first place. Fuck capitalism, fuck the public school system, fuck ableism.
Hell yeah, Birdie. You know, if any space would love you, it's probably the Dead by Daylight community. They would probably... Dead by Daylight community would accept Birdie with open arms, very much so. They'd probably be too scared to say that Birdie's being performative, though, because of the nasty purity testing that goes on in DVD spaces.
Major topic that Birdie addresses in his 2-hour-long video is the supposed abuse that his family had done to him.
Originally, I was gonna mention here how abusive my parents have been to me my whole life, but due to recent events, I've come to find that my whole family is abusive.
Wow.
Not just my parents.
Your parents are abusive, grandma and grandpa are abusive, your siblings are abusive. Everybody is a fucking abuser in Birdie's life. That's incredible.
And I'd like
What are the odds, guys?
to talk about it. Well, with the exception of my siblings, of course. I'm talking about my grandparents.
Okay, well, what have they actually done to be abusive, though?
My parents are very abusive. I'll give some examples in a little bit, but
Oh my god.
first, let me put this into perspective for you. They are conservative Trump supporters.
Whoa! That's crime.
They are racist.
How much you want to bet Birdie's parents would defend Trump being a pedophile on the Epstein list? They'd be like, there's no evidence. The evidence doesn't exist. My eyes are closed. I can't see evidence. Also, I'm going to lie about Trump disavowing the Epstein files, only because he has to.
Sexist, transphobic, homophobic,
Wow. They really hate their child Birdie.
anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers,
We gotta get the Vine boom sound effect every time this plays as well.
conspiracy theorists,
Whoa.
hardcore Christians, they're literally in a cult, and they have 6 kids, not including me.
Wow. 6 kids, and then making 7 kids in total. 6, 7. Guys, Birdie did the 6-7 meme before it was a meme, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Birdie predicted the future.
They have emotionally, verbally, sexually, and physically abused me for
Wow, that is intense. Holy shit. Verbally, sexually, physically. Bro, wow.
my whole
Any evidence for this?
life, as well as neglecting me.
Oh, wow. I mean, the neglect part is, like, a little... If we're gonna be, like, good faith, it is slightly more believable for the neglect part, just because they do have 7 kids, and trying to take care of every single kid is a fucking near impossible task. But, I don't know, Birdie's parents do be fucking in the bedroom a lot to have 7 kids.
And I can say that my siblings have endured similar treatment.
Well, what the fuck? Why not just open with that? If Birdie's own parents emotionally, physically, or even sexually abused him as a child, would that not be enough to single-handedly classify them as abusive? Why attach a bunch of terms that have more to do with politics or ideology? Sure, I don't even agree with their beliefs, or in having 7 fucking children, but that doesn't necessarily classify them as abusive.
Yeah, I don't think having 7 kids on its own is abusive, but it certainly is irresponsible, for sure. Like, I don't know. Again, conversation about having too many kids, for sure.
I nugget, but it's not exactly evidence of abusive behavior, and if anything, attempting to classify as such just weakens Birdie's argument. Anyway, Birdie goes on to state this about the alleged emotional abuse.
One day, my parents literally swarmed me in the basement, so I hid in my room, and they screamed through the door for about an hour or more about how I'm lazy and faking depression to quote-unquote be a victim.
That probably is true. Like, you probably are faking a lot of these, like, illnesses, and you're probably faking and exaggerating a lot of your identity for attention online. So I would probably be inclined to believe your parents on this one, especially considering you're not a very accurate reteller when it comes to information.
Or whatever. They cut off my internet directly afterwards and they refused to bring it back. This happened when I was 14 too, except when I was 14 I ended up having a psychotic break that lasted for months, and the Wi-Fi being out was most of the reason for it, so...
Oh, yeah, that's a sign that this kid is insanely terminally online.
Back...
So, wait, also, earlier in this video, Birdie would talk about how, I'm not an internet whiz, guys, I'm not very good at interneting anymore, but also, I'm freaking out, guys, I'm getting withdrawal symptoms for not having the fucking internet. Relatable, kind of.
And I obviously...
Everybody's dependent on the internet these days.
Didn't want to have a psychotic break again, and I had nothing else to live for aside from the internet, so I attempted suicide. I told my parents...
Oh my god.
I needed to go to the hospital because I thought I was bleeding out when I was actually fine. And they refused to give me medical attention, and they laughed at me and even threatened to call the police because I was quote-unquote threatening them to take me to the hospital. The next day, I heard my mom on the phone gossiping to her friends about how I attempted suicide and how stupid I was for doing it, and then treated my dad like a hero for refusing to take me to the hospital.
Oh my god, what the fuck? This is giving me a headache. Remember when I mentioned at the beginning the concept of what unrestricted internet access does to a motherfucker? The entire 2-hour-long video is like this, by the way. There is just so much information to pass through being dumped on you at every turn that I'm gonna have to skip over a bunch of the less important shit, else risk a video the length of the Mr. T Lexify one. What I'm gathering from Birdie's description of the situation is that Birdie's parents were frustrated with the lack of action from Birdie in securing his future. So they turned the internet off after an argument, which subsequently led to Birdie suicide baiting with the claim that he didn't want to re-trigger his psychosis due to lack of internet access. Yeah, sure, if what Birdie is stating is true, it is pretty horrible of his parents to claim that he was just faking his depression as an excuse for his laziness. What are you fucking doing? And they probably should not have screamed at him, but overall, this entire...
do we really believe the fucking screaming part? That part doesn't make any sense to me. That they would just, like, scream at Birdie. Maybe they screamed at Birdie because they were so fucking sick of Birdie's shit, and it's pretty clear that Birdie is a pretty difficult child to raise.
Pretty common dynamic between parents and children. I'm sure you or someone you know has been involved in a similar argument with a parental figure that may have even led to someone's internet being turned off. One thing I'm hoping you can't relate to though is the part where someone cuts themselves and begs to go to hospital. At risk of sounding like a jackass, Birdie...
Yeah, well apparently Birdie alleged that there is sexual abuse that happened with their parents onto them. But, again, that does not seem to be the case at all, as Birdie provides no evidence for this.
Very clearly still alive and well making this video, so maybe Birdie's dad was onto something by refusing to take him to the hospital.
I told my parents I needed to go to the hospital because I thought I was bleeding out when...
I don't know why the fuck you decided to draw yourself, cutting yourself.
I was actually fine.
It's interesting as well because Birdie will talk about how playing the clips from their parents or like the arguments from their parents are deeply triggering, but cutting yourself somehow isn't triggering. Maybe that is believable though, when you think about it. Because maybe they're desensitized to all the cutting. I guess it just shows how deeply unstable Birdie is.
I mean, it's not like he went and cut Birdie. It is kind of obnoxious to self-inflict harm and then expect someone to take the time out of the day to take you to the hospital. Additionally, I have to wonder how many times Birdie's parents experienced suicide baiting from Birdie, considering they supposedly immediately refused to take him to get medical treatment, yet apparently cared enough to get mad at him for being lazy. They do have 7 kids after all, and as far as I'm concerned, none of those are dead, so it's not exactly like they're just letting the kids off themselves with no concern for their well-being. This notably isn't the only instance of Birdie suicide baiting specifically his own parents mentioned within this video. There is also this.
There are 2 livestream clips from 2017 of me threatening suicide to my dad, and another of my mom confronting me for giving out my address. I'm not gonna play either of these clips because they were of me as a child being put in abusive situations and having an emotional response, so they're deeply triggering for me.
And here's that audio he doesn't want to play.
You need to go.
Yeah, even though they are totally fine with drawing themselves, cutting themselves.
To bed.
Well, maybe if I had my computer in my room.
It's not gonna happen, and we could still hear you upstairs.
Bro, the fucking dad sounds like a gay guy.
Well, can you...
Sorry, that was inappropriate. Oh, man.
You, like, not come
I'm a little gay, totally.
in here because you're gonna cause drama.
You can be on if you're talking during the day, but not at night. It's 3 in the morning now.
Oh, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's 2:45, but it's 3 in the morning. I can control the time.
Dad, stop! You're gonna make someone hate me!
Well, it would be fine because you won't be on the internet at all in all directions.
If you cut off the internet, I'm gonna kill myself. You know that.
Okay. It's just so... What a fucking terrible child, honestly. I'm sorry. Like, what an actual manipulative piece of shit bastard child. Like, I'm sorry. Birdie, I'm not trying to be that person, but Birdie is the kind of child you would inflict abuse upon, just to be clear. Any allegations that your parents have of abuse are now kind of justified. Like, you are a horrible child for, like, just trying to manipulate your parents by using suicide to get what you want.
Based on the fact...
It's just absolutely... It's so obnoxious.
The fact that it was live streamed, and Birdie described the last suicide baiting incident to have happened after the Wi-Fi was turned off. It's my impression that these are 2 different incidents, although the description from Birdie sounds so remarkably similar that I'm not 100% sure. If I am correct though, then that means Birdie suicide baited his own parents over them turning the Wi-Fi off at minimum twice now, which he does somewhat acknowledge, although of course simultaneously attempts to justify it.
I just want to say it was not okay for me to threaten suicide to my dad. Nobody should ever do this as a tactic to get what they want, and although it took several years, I've recently grown out of this behavior.
I don't know, Birdie. I don't know.
But I want every...
A fucking narcissist... Like, listen, I actually don't. I don't think Birdie's narcissistic. I think that they're just a fucking loser, Lolcow. But, like, a lot of people... I've heard that I want to change one too many times in my life. People say that all the fucking time, and they don't do a damn thing.
Everybody to understand, I was 12 years old. I was a child, and my parents did not love me. They never paid attention to me, and I learned that the only way they would take me seriously is if I threatened suicide. This came from a genuine place of suicidal ideation too, so it never came across as a manipulation tactic to me until I took my hiatus and thought about my actions throughout my life. Another thing to consider is that I have BPD, and one of the symptoms of my disorder is literally suicidal threats and gestures along with self-harm. This is a facet of my disorder, but I've gotten much better at not having suicidal outbursts. And I can admit that although I've improved, I still feel suicidal at times, but I try to express it in a manner that does not come across as manipulative. The reason I told my dad I was gonna kill myself was because I was live streaming at 3 AM and I didn't realize this was something I wasn't supposed to do, so my dad walked in and told me to stop, and I said I would. He came back later on because I was taking too long and told me he was going to cut off the Wi-Fi, and I misinterpreted what he said and I believed he was going to cut off my internet access forever, and I told him if he did that, I would kill myself.
I mean, either way, that I don't really think it matters either way. You're still, like, using suicide to get what you want.
I didn't
By your own admission earlier in this clip, by the way. Like, in this clip, you admit this.
want to be alive if my escapism was taken away, so I lashed out.
Oh yeah,
Escapism. Great. More buzzwords.
grown out of suicide baiting, like it's an old set of clothes.
I didn't mute during either of these live streams because I was caught up in the moment and I wanted people to sympathize with me. I truly believed that if people saw my emotional responses to these situations, that I would be pitied, which is something that I always confused for love.
Okay. So you do have some form of, like, a victim complex, basically, and you want people to see you as a victim. So you're effectively admitting to being a manipulative piece of shit in this clip.
It really is my fault that I decided not to mute the live stream, but at this age, I didn't have the capacity to understand what happens when you put out personal things online.
God, it's literally everything else's fault but my own. It's everyone else, it's everything else. Like, there's so many fucking excuses for that. I can't stand people that can never own up to their shit when they're wrong. I cannot fucking stand people like that. That is like an actual pet peeve of mine. When people refuse to actually see what's wrong with them and to make a change for themselves. It's such an immature trait to have.
This is a concept I didn't even understand until recently.
Yeah, I don't know if you figured that out yet, buddy. Let's get back to Birdie's retelling of his life story, shall we?
I found loopholes to get my internet back in 2022 without my parents' knowledge, of course. But with my internet taken away, I quickly began to realize the extent of my parents' abuse, and I realized I needed to get away from them as soon as possible. But I was only 16 and I didn't have any friends IRL, so there was nobody to save me. Eventually, an online friend, who I will not be naming here, got in contact with me and offered me a safe place to stay. The issue with this is he lived all the way in Maryland, and I lived in Washington State, so I would need to prepare to move cross-country.
So you were planning on running away from mommy and daddy, it seems.
I waited until I turned 18, and I prepared for over a year, all while hiding my plans from my parents. I relied on this guy for my own safety, and he began to emotionally abuse me as well.
Oh my god! Another abuser has entered the fucking arena to fight Birdie. Poor Birdie. Oh, I'm so sorry, Birdie. Oh my god, another abuser has entered your life. Oh no. Oh god almighty, save me.
He became my favorite person because guess what? I have borderline personality disorder, which I will talk about more later, which quickly worsened our unhealthy relationship. As soon as I had plans ready to purchase a plane ticket, he blocked me, leaving me back at square one, stuck in my abusive household with my parents and with no support system at all. He intended to let me stay at his mom's house, and I was under the impression that she knew I would be coming and that she was allowing me to stay there. I learned after the fact that this guy had lied to me and that his mom had no idea about our plans. Like, she just thought that I was coming to visit, not that I was gonna live there.
Although Birdie's retelling of the story does come off as extremely uncharitable, this is an instance where the other party involved, the so-called Maryland dude, has actually come out with his own perspective, which I will address later.
Okay. Remember when you called me abusive after I tried to leave you like 3 times and each time you kept guilt-tripping me to come back by threatening to kill yourself? He tried to get me to stranded in the middle of the country. Okay, I was 17 and a junior in high school. My bad. Damn, that's tough.
Also, another really weird thing that this guy did is that he kept bribing me with gifts. Like, according to him, he spent either $200 to $400 on gifts for me from, like, Amazon.
Dude, how does the victim complex keep getting bigger? Birdie is now you're effectively saying that this fucking 17-year-old, while you were 18 years old, or I guess you were also 17 at the time, either way, you're trying to say that this other person was grooming you by bribing you with gifts. Great. I love it, dude. This is cinema, Lolcow content.
He planned to give to me when I arrived at his house. And, like, even weirder, I have proof that these gifts were real. He ended up sending like 3 of them to me in the...
What is this? You're giving it a middle finger, and I guess it's like a naked fucking art thing or whatever.
A nail. And he would hold these gifts over my head constantly to, like, manipulate me. Like, whenever I did something that he didn't like, he would try to control me by being like, dude, I spent, like, $300 on gifts for you, and you're...
Oh my god. Okay, so, guys, when I threaten my parents and manipulate them with suicide, and this guy too, apparently, according to his testimony, which I'm probably going to be more inclined to believe his testimony than Birdie's testimony, because Birdie is a very unreliable teller of information. When you use suicide to threaten them, that's okay. But the moment somebody decides to manipulate you, now all of a sudden you're going to throw a big whiny tantrum about it.
You're gonna act like this, you're such a bad friend. And, like, he would keep increasing the price every time he, like, used this tactic. Like, it started out as, like, I spent $200 on you, and then it went up to, like, $400. So, honestly, I don't know how much he spent on those gifts.
Yeah, I mean, with that description, this dude does sound pretty wretched. Holding a gift above someone's head is gross. However, what mistreatment from Birdie was he referring to that Birdie conveniently left out of the story? It might explain why he blocked Birdie the moment that Birdie bought a plane ticket. There is no indication that this Maryland dude knew that Birdie would be buying a plane ticket that day. Yeah, I would probably block some delusional abusive freak too if they suddenly decided to enact years-old plans of flying to my house and living there.
Yeah, I mean, and also due to the fact that Birdie was, like, consistently, like, being a total pain in the ass to this Maryland dude, and eventually that led to Birdie just, like, burning the bridge with them.
So what the fuck is this guy Keemstar when he was reporting on Pyro's 16, 15, 14-year-old French girl? Why does he keep changing the numbers spent on gifts?
Oh my god.
With how uncharitably Birdie is being...
I'm pretty sure the Pyrocynical allegations were kind of nothing. I think, what, Pyrocynical sent, like, fart fetish roleplays to, like, a 16-year-old at 19, which is, like, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I forget the age specifically with Pyrocynical, but it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be.
So far while describing these stories. I wouldn't be shocked
if someone has like a good deep dive video on Pyrocynical, maybe we'll watch it.
It's just because he had actually spent more each time he mentioned the number. After all, there are 3 different gifts sent to Birdie and there are 3 different figures mentioned. By the way, just to be clear, I haven't actually read the Maryland dude's perspective as of writing this part of the video. This is all just my opinion and perspective gathered from what Birdie has supplied us with in terms of information. The only reason I knew that the Maryland dude had come out with his own perspective, which later led to me finding it, is because Birdie put this in their video.
Meanwhile, as I was dealing with all this, the Maryland dude from before started harassing me privately and leaking my artwork and events publicly and claiming I abused him, which led to a resurgence in Birdie drama despite me being on hiatus and also still healing from what this guy did to me.
But what this guy did to you wasn't even that traumatizing, so, like, you're... Okay.
Oh, and there's
the lack of self-awareness is fucking insane. Like, you hate it when people allegedly falsely accuse you of being abusive, but you do it to other people constantly.
Final note.
The lack of self-awareness on Birdie's fucking insane.
On this Maryland dude saga for now, at least until I address his side of the story. Of course, this Birdie fucker had to start using psych terms.
I never asked for any of the gifts. He just decided to love bomb me with them and—
Oh my god, love bombing, that's another one.
And
add that to the long list of fucking buzzwords Birdie used.
I couldn't do anything because holy shit, that's a lot of money to spend on, like, a manipulation tactic. If I'm being honest.
Sounds like they were trying to be nice to you if they were spending that much money for you.
That's what it is, like, holy moly.
Yeah, and your suicide baiting is also a manipulation tactic, Birdie, but you seem to brush that one off. Again, nuance only exists when you do stuff, not when other people do it.
I have a personal beef with whoever unleashed the word love bomb on the internet.
So, now it's the beginning of 2023. I ended up moving 4 times in just this year, and I endured so much abuse, which I will elaborate on shortly.
I highly doubt that you've endured so much abuse.
I got back on my feet quickly, and I prepared to complete my GED so I could get a job and afford to move out. Despite the significant progress I was making, my parents kicked me out very soon after I turned 18 with the intention of leaving me homeless on the streets.
Interesting that he noted, despite making significant progress on my GED. I'm beginning to get the impression that the aforementioned laziness that Birdie's parents were frustrated with was based around a lack of progress from Birdie on his GED.
Oh yeah, it's obvious that Birdie doesn't actually want to put any fucking effort into getting a GED. Like, all Birdie wants to do is to just justify staying home all day and playing on the computer all day, or, like, drawing furry porn on the computer all day. That's all they want to do with their life, and they have a fucking victim complex, and they think everyone is out to get them.
So what does he mean his parents kicked him out with the intention of making him homeless? Yeah, sure, I would agree that 18 is a very young age to be kicked out of the house. Nor do I believe that it would be particularly effective at giving Birdie the kick he needs to get his life in order and finish his GED. However, as Birdie will establish momentarily, he had other options for housing, and I don't doubt that his parents were aware of that considering who the housing is coming from.
The day I was kicked out, I went to my grandma's house, and she allowed me to stay there and eventually decided that she would house me until I could afford to move out.
Wait, that grandma you labeled as abusive at the beginning of the video? Well, let's hear it then.
Issues began to arise when she expected me to wake up early to go to school 3 days a week and work on math at home for an hour every day, as well as getting to all my appointments by myself.
Yeah, because these are all things that you have to do.
Which I know it sounds ridiculous that this is where I began to suffer, but I dropped out of school in 9th grade and I have super autism.
Wow. It's like, I don't know, listen, autism can be an explanation for your interactions and stuff, but, like, recently I got out of a friendship with somebody who constantly used their autism as a fucking excuse to do really nasty behavior and to just be a super toxic person. Like, listen, I get it. Like, when somebody has autism, especially when they're super high functioning, you have to take a different approach with it, but it gets to a point when you use your autism as a manipulation tactic to be conniving and to get what you want. It's disgusting. And I don't, like, people shouldn't tolerate shit like that. And just to be clear, Birdie is the kind of person to use their autism as a manipulation tactic.
There's also the fact that I can't drive, so I would have to take public transportation to these education programs and wherever else every time I needed to go, and it was a 15-minute walk to the bus stop every day.
Do I even need to say anything here? The next 5 minutes is Birdie bitching about how putting a disabled person through schooling without one-on-one tutoring is abusive or something, and also makes this goofy-ass claim.
It was the middle of summer, and I didn't have any cool clothes, thanks to my parents' neglect.
Thanks to my neglect. Oh my god, my parents wouldn't buy me a cool fucking, like, Hot Topic shirt or whatever, and because they're neglecting me. What the fuck?
I don't have clothes though, right?
What is that claim?
No significant damage to them? You know, I'm just checking, because I don't think whether or not the clothes were cool dictates whether or not your parents were neglectful. This is just conjecture, as is a lot of this segment to do with Birdie's family. I wonder why, we only have one side of the story. But it seems more like Birdie's fault that his clothing wasn't cool enough. The clothing Birdie has drawn to demonstrate the supposed outfit of neglect is black shorts, black t-shirt, black headphones, and black wristbands. If this drawing is at all accurate to the clothing that he was supposedly wearing at the time, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that Birdie chose the fucking black clothing, considering it's one of his 3 favorite colors, and the drawing that he has representing current day him is also wearing black. Secondly, take the fucking wristbands off, mate, and while you're at it, the headphones too. The headphones are just gonna trap heat that would be escaping from your head. Thirdly, I don't think I've ever worn fucking shorts in my life, so Birdie is actually ahead of me in this part of the meta. And as far as I'm concerned, the US is nowhere near as humid as New Zealand, so I don't know what the fuck he's complaining about.
Is that true? Is New Zealand actually more humid than the US is? I mean, I guess it depends which coast you're on. Like, I think if you're on the West Coast, it's obviously gonna be a lot hotter. But I guess how humid does New Zealand get?
Anyway, Birdie goes on to give the namesake for this chapter.
Fuck work anyways, it's not like I'm physically or mentally capable enough to uphold a job in the first place.
Guys, I don't ever want to work in my life ever again. I just want to fucking be on my computer and draw and finger myself to furry porn every single fucking day. And I want to shit in my pants every single fucking day every time I see naked furries fucking each other on my PC.
Fuck capitalism, fuck the public school system, fuck ableism.
Oh yeah, so on cable, you have a 115k subscriber channel in which numerous reasonably high effort animations are posted. What about this very fucking video, the 2-hour long trauma dump? All of it drawn, written, animated, and edited by you, Birdie. Birdie is capable enough to write numerous long-winded vents on Tumblr which have repeatedly gotten him in hot water. Wait a second, bring that ramble back up. He mentioned the Maryland dude in it. Okay, so this is a Tumblr post that is in response to a question about BPD, and while that is what the majority of the post addresses, Birdie also elaborates, stating that around the time that he lost internet access, he began thinking that he had BPD, which he brought up to his mother, who shot the claim down. Upon getting access to the internet again, without his parents' knowledge.
I mean, that sounds to me like if the mother actually got that, then mother probably got them tested then, if they shot that claim down that they had BPD. It's also possible that it could stem from the fact that they have 7 kids, and so, like, maybe there's, like, some level of, like, not wanting to, or I guess, like, not taking care of the kids as much as they could. But at the same time, like, I also just do not trust Birdie's narrative at all, because Birdie's like, hey, guys, I don't have any good clothes, I don't have any cool clothes that I wanted, and my parents didn't give me the clothes I wanted because they neglected me. So, Birdie's definition of neglect is very obviously not real, neither is, like, any of the other buzzwords that they've used.
As Birdie keeps clarifying, he also got in contact with the Maryland dude who forced the BPD label onto Birdie as a way of explaining his abusive behavior. This claim was followed by some bracketed text which stated that the Maryland dude was the one who was actually abusing and gaslighting Birdie into believing that he had a victim complex, and it wasn't actually
Birdie definitely has a victim complex.
The other way around, which, holy shit, the first usage of a psych term I might actually agree with. No, not the gaslighting claim from Birdie, the victim complex claim from the Maryland dude.
Yeah, it's like Birdie has an actual victim complex.
So despite the fact that Birdie alleged the Maryland dude had forced the BPD label onto him, Birdie did actually end up being diagnosed with BPD in 2023 by a psychiatrist, which he even acknowledges in the same Tumblr post. It seems as if the Maryland dude sure as shit had Birdie figured out in at least this regard. Now, as previously mentioned, the Maryland dude did actually come out with his own perspective on the story, and that was on Twitter with notably substantially more evidence than Birdie. To start off, the Maryland dude, aka Refix, claimed that Birdie was most definitely the one who was at fault. One example of how would be when Refix attempted to distance himself from Birdie due to his increasingly deranged behavior. Birdie threatened to kill himself and sent a photo with cuts in his arms, and proceeded to label Refix as abusive.
Yeah, so that would basically be Birdie. Like, there's more proof that Birdie is using their self-harm to try to get what they want.
This is supposedly displayed through this discussion afterwards. Refix additionally clarified that the primary reason he ended up blocking Birdie, preventing Birdie from coming to his house in Maryland, was because Birdie had allegedly threatened to kill Refix behind his back. So yes, Birdie seemingly completely lied about Refix, a person who merely attempted to help Birdie by offering him housing, subsequently labeling him as abusive and driving him to pull out mountains of hair from stress. Anyway, back to Birdie's trauma dump, because he starts talking about grandma now and how she was supposedly abusive.
I texted my grandma one day to ask if I could have some food in her house that I knew nobody was eating, and she got mad at me and told me not to blow up her phone.
Hold on, wait. Could I have all the chocolate chip Cliff Bars and the Waller Seeds? Dude, you're messaging your grandma at 2 in the fucking morning. This, like, guys, this message is sent in 2 in the morning. You're messaging your grandma 2 in the morning to try to get fucking chocolate bars? Dude, I would be pissed off at you as well. I'd be calling you slurs. Dude, what the hell? People are trying to sleep, especially when your grandma is probably old as shit, dude. She's trying to get her beauty sleep.
Help ever again.
What? You can't just say that and expect me to believe you when you're showing fucking contradictory evidence on screen. Birdie's supposedly abusive grandma is just being extraordinarily sweet in these texts.
I'll bring that stuff and your blanket, flag, clothes hamper, and hangers later this evening. I'll stop off at Costco and get a big box of Clip Bars. Let me know what time you want to have them as well. By the way, you're lucky that your grandma was being very nice to you, but also you're messaging them at 2 in the fucking morning. Again, like, I think, like, you guys may not think that that's a big deal, but Birdie messaging them in 2 in the morning, I think, does paint a picture that they are fucking inconsiderate of other people at their sleep time. Like, again, you may not think that that's a big detail, but I think it is.
Talking about dropping off supplies like food or a blanket. The cognitive dissonance of Birdie describing how horrible his grandma was and how his grandma was blowing up his phone when this is on the screen. It's just fucking absurd to me and does imply that Birdie has provided an extraordinarily biased account of his relationship with his grandma. That's also why I'm so questionable of Birdie's entire trauma dump, because there's some worthless photos of some random gifts he received from the Maryland dude and a screenshot of another set of texts with grandma. These texts are the only piece of evidence that Birdie provides for his claims of being abused by his family, and it's completely fucking contradictory to his story. Regardless, here is Birdie to elaborate on his homelessness.
So now I had to go to a homeless shelter. It wasn't a regular homeless shelter though, it was a homeless shelter / mentoring program, which basically means that it's a homeless shelter except with responsibilities, and the owner basically chooses your life path for you, with the threat of sending you to a lesser homeless shelter if you didn't follow through with the goals he set up for you. Perfect environment for an abused, burnt out, mentally ill, paranoid dude, right?
Well, it's definitely an environment and a half for somebody who is clearly not mentally stable at the very least. I don't know about abuse victim, but definitely not mentally stable.
So, this all went about as well for me as you could guess. I was surrounded by other homeless people with no privacy. I was too paranoid to go outside, and I barely had any money, so I couldn't get myself groceries, and I basically began to starve. Most days, all I ate was a granola bar or two, and some days I didn't even eat at all.
I don't even believe this. I don't even fucking believe any of this. Birdie is probably just, like, too much of a lazy piece of shit to make them sell food, or to even, like, go out the door and, like, buy something. I think that you're just, like, I think you're a lazy slob, and you don't want to do anything. You want everyone to do everything for you, and you don't want to actually put any effort into making your life better. I think that's what it is.
I stopped showering because the living space was so dirty that I didn't feel clean after showering anymore. I was in an unsafe area. People would pizza bomb the place, and there would be police outside with loaded rifles.
Pizza bomb? What the fuck is pizza bomb? Are they, like, shoving pizzas on the roof? Like, this is Breaking Bad?
And literally everybody would laugh it off while I hid in my room and had a panic attack. One day I got too scared to drink the water because of how dirty the sink was, and I came dangerously close to passing out due to dehydration. I began to lose weight I didn't want to lose due to the lack of food. I was barely sleeping too.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a you problem. You need to put effort into making yourself food more. I don't know. Or feeding yourself more.
Like a tutoring.
You can't just expect everybody to do it for you all the time.
Program mixed with a boarding house. I mean, there's also this text from Birdie's grandma, which I'll expand upon later, in which Birdie's grandma
okay. You say your parents can't handle you. Nobody can handle you. I think you need to put some work into trying to not be so much to handle. You burned your bridges here. Telling people you didn't feel safe here was incredibly underhanded and hurtful. If you don't want to get kicked out of here, you should talk to Nana and Jean about what you can do to deserve to stay there. What do they need to see from you? How can you prove yourself? Are you willing to try? Or you can ask the shelter owner for help and put more effort there. At the very least, you wouldn't be homeless.
Explicitly refers to staying at the shelter as not being homeless. To be fair, that...
Yeah, and honestly, like, again, like, the fact that Birdie is going online and saying that their grandparents are being abusive as well, like, that would be, like, them burning the bridge.
Could just be referring to the fact that Birdie would at least have a roof over his head, but regardless. Conjecture warning, but this sounds like a program that you would need to fill out paperwork for, which, when considering Birdie said this...
That I needed somewhere to stay, where I had a basic level of assistance, because on my own, I would literally starve to death, and my mom told me...
Again, this whole narrative about, like, Birdie starving to death, I think I genuinely feel like it is because you're lazy. Not because you're actually being neglected with food. You just expect everybody to bring you food all the time. Make it yourself or fucking order it or something. I don't fucking know. Put more effort into your life.
It would be fine, and that her and my grandma would help me get groceries and get to my appointments. Where was that kind of help I needed a few months ago?
And he's also previously described those family members as transphobic. Wow, why is this relevant, you may be wondering?
This isn't even mentioning the transphobia I experienced at the shelter. Literally everybody there would keep misgendering me, including my lesbian roommate. Like, dude, you're LGBTQ, you should know better. The owner introduced-
Like, were they misgendering you? Like, listen, It sucks when people on purpose use the wrong pronouns to try to invalidate trans people. Like, I totally get it. There's a lot of weird freaks on Twitter that absolutely hate trans people more than anything, despite the fact that they jerk off to trans porn behind closed doors, which is why they have a huge hatred for them. But how much of this is accurate? Like, were they misgendering you on purpose? Because if they were, that's bad. But if they aren't, which I'm inclined to believe that they were doing it on accident, then, like, it's really not something you need to hold over their fucking head. Like, they're not trying to intentionally be transphobic.
Me to everyone with my dead name behind my back for literally no reason. Like, there wasn't even a legal reason for him to do this.
The reason I say this segment is conjecture is because there isn't evidence that there was any paperwork involved. However, if there was, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to assume that it was Birdie's family that filled it out. And considering they're supposedly transphobic, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that they would have put his birth gender on there and not his transition gender. So despite saying that there was no legal reason for it, I can definitely envision there being one.
On my last day there, the owner admitted he called me Jack instead of using my pronouns because, quote, "It's annoying how often trans people change their pronouns and it's too hard to keep track of." And then he proceeded to mansplain the concept of transphobia to me, and that some people may not agree with your lifestyle and you just have to let those people misgender you.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks, obviously. If what you're retelling is true, of course, which it's hard to believe anything Birdie is saying because they've lied so fucking much in this video.
And I had to agree with him because I didn't want to be the annoying—
I guess it's kind of more believable, to be fair, because they do live in, like, a more conservative area of the United States, so people are more inclined to be transphobic in a lot of conservative spaces.
Who stands up for his own rights, because that would have pissed him off for sure.
To be clear, because it's important to establish for this next segment, Birdie is a trans man who was born as a woman. With that established, yes, obviously, that would suck if the shelter management and residents were intentionally dead-naming and misgendering Birdie. However, with how uncharitable his retelling of the story has been, especially in regards to his grandmother, I'm dubious of the claim's validity. Also, even in Birdie's description of his interaction with the shelter manager, other than maybe the comment about how annoying it is to keep up with people's updated pronouns, the shelter manager sounded relatively reasonable. I mean, yeah, it is just unfortunately a fact of life that people will not agree with Birdie's lifestyle and as a result will intentionally misgender him. And that's just something he has to put up with or risk other consequences for reacting. Additionally, Birdie did put this text on screen which claimed his grandma told him that they put him in a girls' dorm in order to not make the boys uncomfortable. So clearly his family was at least aware of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, again, it definitely does sound like they have regressive ideas when it comes to trans people, most likely.
Regardless, Birdie—
that part seems consistent, at least.
He goes on to talk about his escape, if you will, from the homeless shelter.
I was completely alone and I was seething with rage. I knew I needed to get the hell out of that place before I ended up killing myself, so I contacted my Nana. I told her about my situation and she offered to come pick me up. I arranged for her and her husband to come pick me up and house me, and I didn't tell anybody in my family or anybody at the shelter until the day before she was showing up, because I knew they would try to keep me at the shelter. Of course, when I told the rest of my family, they were pissed. So my Nana arrived and I got the hell out of there. I began staying at her place, and I quickly realized this was a really bad idea. They had me live in their garage, and the room that they placed me in had no locks and no doors. My Nana and her husband very quickly became abusive. Her husband—
Great. Wow. More abusers, guys, in the story. Another one has entered the battle.
Husband would yell at me and shove me and tug on my clothes and chase me into my room. I would hide under the bed from him, but he would just keep yelling. He would call me retarded and swear at me and yell.
Damn. Well, I'm inclined to believe those things, Birdie.
Yell.
Sorry. God damn. Oh, man.
Every time I would go nonverbal, he would start screaming at me.
I don't know. If I had to live with Birdie 24/7, I'd probably start saying every slur I could think of in the book as well.
And my Nana would ask me why I wasn't normal, and she would enable him by telling him I was doing it on purpose because I didn't like him, which is rich coming from her, considering she also suffers from autism and BPD and psychosis as well. Like, why aren't you normal, Karen?
Whoa, Birdie calling someone Karen?
You guys have—
based?
no idea how long I've wanted to make that joke. Her name is actually Karen.
Wow, more supposedly abusive family members who are seemingly MI6 when it comes to covering up evidence of their supposed abuse. Anyway, this next claim in regards to Birdie's Nana is honestly the most bizarro world thing I think I've ever witnessed.
Every week, when her husband would threaten to kick me out, I would present options of places for me to stay. I told her I could stay at a motel until my roommate came to pick me up, and she would come up with all sorts of bullshit to prevent me from having a safe place to stay. I would give her options, but she would say weird shit like she could take me to Oregon so I could live at her unfinished beach house despite her being unable to drive. She offered to buy a house in my hometown so I could stay there. She told me to just get an apartment by myself. Like, come on, in this economy, with the disabilities that I have, being unemployed? It'd be easier to cure cancer by mixing a shampoo potion together. I told her everything I said here about the homeless shelter and that was not an option. I had options on where to stay, but she straight up refused to let me go safely. She forced me to go back to the homeless shelter one day. I didn't have a choice because I had no method of transportation. There weren't any public buses in the area. I was literally in the middle of nowhere, by the way. My options were going back to the shelter or being left to the streets of this nowhere neighborhood and either starving to death or getting killed by coyotes.
I would give her options, but she would just say weird shit, like offering me free fucking housing. Like, what are we talking about? No, Birdie, your two options weren't fucking starve or get ate by coyotes. They were a house in Oregon or a house in your hometown. Like, what is all this shit about homelessness if it's completely self-inflicted? It is very well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's hard to feel bad for Birdie when a lot of the shit that happens to them is for their own reasons, or their own actions.
Possible that Birdie's family was abusive to Birdie when they were younger. I mean, other than the unrestricted internet access, I don't know how else you would end up with someone as fucked up as Birdie. The issue with...
It probably is the unrestricted internet access, though. I don't really think that the fucking... Like, I don't know, the extent of their quote-unquote abuse is just being told no by their parents, really. Like, probably some level of neglect, maybe, but, like, I don't know, that's about it. Like... That's mainly has to do with the fact that they have 7 kids, not that their parents are intentionally trying to harm their kid, like Birdie's making it out to be.
However, when going off of what Birdie has told us, I cannot in good faith make that conclusion, as by his description, his family has attempted to provide support to Birdie, and subsequently just got pushed away and received abuse allegations. That is especially when considering this second screenshot of text from Grandma, wherein you can see Grandma seemingly giving Birdie some tough love, stating that Birdie should put some more work into not being so much to handle.
Yeah, I think we read this already.
As the whole family can't deal with it, especially after being burnt.
Yeah, I would imagine that it's really tough to deal with someone as difficult as Birdie. Like, it's tough. You can't really save somebody who's as difficult and as obnoxious as Birdie, especially when they're so deadlocked in their, like, really delusional perspective.
Grandma does actually mention the shelter owner, stating that Birdie could contact him in an attempt to avoid homelessness. So, assumedly at this point, the free house in Oregon or the free house in his hometown is off the table. The fact that Birdie started the video with a disclaimer of why his family shouldn't watch it is suspicious to me. Was it genuinely motivated by desire for them to not be involved in his life because of the fact that they hurt him? Or was it just because he baselessly slanders them for the next half an hour and doesn't want to suffer the consequences of them watching it because he might actually be made homeless then?
Wow, Birdie being fucking slanderous to people around them that are trying to help them? Who would have guessed?
Based on the fact that we only...
Like, literally every single inconvenience that Birdie receives in their life is a form of abuse.
One side of the story, and when considering both substantial pieces of evidence that Birdie provides contradicts his narrative, I'm inclined to believe that it's an extremely biased retelling of the story that paints everything in the absolute worst possible light. And I'm fairly certain Birdie's recent life story isn't the only instance of him dishonestly framing a situation in order to paint himself as the victim. Regardless, at threat of being kicked out of his nana's place, Birdie takes his grandma's advice and contacts the shelter owner. However, for whatever reason, also states that he has accommodation from CineBear03, who he also reached out to around the time.
I got so desperate I texted my mom and my grandma for help, and my grandma told me that it was my fault for being kicked out again and yada yada, and to call the owner of the shelter so I could go back. My mom told me to go back to the shelter too. I told them both why that wasn't an option and that I needed somewhere to stay where I had a basic level of assistance because on my own—
A basic level of assistance. Again, it's like Birdie doesn't want to fucking put any effort into their life. Basic level of assistance? No, you want people to fucking assist you and bring you food all day while you draw your fucking furry porn on your computer. That's what it is more than anything. This is not like as a result of any disability that you have. This is not because of your autism. This is not because of your psychosis or you being mental ill. These are all excuses that you're making up. You're making up excuses to not do any work. That's what you're doing.
When I would literally starve to death, and my mom told me it would be fine and that her and my grandma would help me get groceries and get to my appointments. Where was that kind of help I needed a few months ago? Why are you all of a sudden willing to help me?
Oh, I don't know, maybe because Birdie is homeless and clearly can't take care of himself, so pushing him to do things like taking care of his own appointments would just apply unnecessary pressure to a family member that they're attempting to help at the time.
Well, I didn't have a choice, so I called the owner of the shelter and asked if I could get back in. The thing is, my nana and her husband threatened to kick me out so often that I made plans for my roommate to come pick me up on November 4th. Due to this information, the owner rejected me and told—
And I believe the roommate is Cinnabear03. Listen, if you find yourself being best friends with Cinnabear03, you're probably just as degenerate, if not more degenerate, than Cinnabear. I would, like, some people could make an argument that Birdie is actually worse than Cinnabear, to be honest. That's how fucking degenerate of a person Birdie is.
Told me I couldn't go back to the shelter.
Why did Birdie tell the shelter owner that he had accommodation with Cinnabear when he just didn't because Cinnabear was across the country? Did he even clarify that, or was he just like, nah, G, I got somewhere to stay, don't worry about it, bro? Regardless, it's finally time for the degenerates to unite, so I'll just let Birdie explain that for you.
I couldn't stay at my nana's house for obvious reasons, so I had to go back to my parents' house. I'm not even kidding. I stayed there for a little—
I'm not even kidding, guys. I'm 20 years old and I'm still living with my parents. You say that like as if it's unbelievable. I mean, well, first off, you're in a shit situation and you're in it because of yourself. So that's believable within itself, Birdie. But more than that, like, yes, 20-year-olds very commonly live with their parents. Like, people that are very young still live with their parents. Like, obviously, there's outliers. Some people go away for college and stuff. Like, obviously, like, I get it. But that's, you know, there's still a lot of young people, especially if you're in, like, an expensive city like New York or LA. Living with your parents is so fucking common these days. It's, like, really not that deep. I mean, ideally, I still live with my parents. Do I want to move out of that situation at some point? Yeah. Probably down the line at some point. That's an ideal goal of mine.
Less than a week until my roommate was able to drive from Missouri to Washington to pick me up. For those curious, my roommate is Cinnabear03, another animation memer, furry, previous Sans fangirl.
Oh my fucking god. Another furry, another lover, another degenerate. Oh my gosh. Degenerates attracting each other in this, like, fucking nasty orgy.
What are the chances? As of writing this, we've been living together for almost 2 months. We've known each other through the internet since we were kids, and we used to watch each other's videos on a regular basis.
Guys, we used to watch each other's porn on a regular basis. We used to finger each other to the porn that we would draw each other. Guys, it was so amazing and erotic.
So it is incredibly surreal knowing that—
It is so surreal that we get to recreate it in person now, guys. We got the camera and everything, guys.
Ended up living together.
Spankbank.com. You got some new degenerates coming on your fucking site.
But, like, good surreal. I honestly don't know what—
Yeah, I would imagine that's a very good surreal for you, Birdie. Look at that.
I would have done without her. I know for sure I would have been homeless on the streets. It's hard to express how grateful I am to have this opportunity and to have a friend like this in general, because I've never experienced this kind of love and care and compassion until now.
The top 3 most poorly aged sentences of all time. I have never been more happy to have a fucking degenerate like Cinnabear to live with. By the way, Cinnabear, again, I think I mentioned it at the very beginning of this video, but I'll just reiterate in case you guys didn't hear it. Cinnabear got outed for being weird as fuck to a 14-year-old at the age of 20. I have videos, again, guys, if you want to check out my videos, just search up Cinnabear03 on my channel, or Cinnabear. You'll find my coverage on the Cinnabear situation if you want to know more. I watched Toastify's video on it, and I think I also watched Cinnabear's final apology. I reacted to that one.
But I am incredibly grateful to have a chance at life, and it's all because of Cinny. Everyone in her life was telling her not to come get me, but she went out of her way to save me regardless.
God, save me, guys.
We had a nice road trip.
I think I need to be saved after watching this deep dive on Birdie again. But I kind of did it to myself, so whose fault is it really?
We were in the car for about 2 days. We snuggled up under some blankets and watched YouTube videos,
We snuggled together. You guys were in love, yeah.
ate snacks, listened to music, talked about things, and took naps on each other.
Oh my god, yeah. Guys, we're in love with each other.
We were homeless for a few days, but her friend provided us a place to sleep until we could move into our apartment. And now we're here. We have our own place, and
you don't have a job, and you're not contributing anything valuable to that apartment whatsoever. You're not doing your part, because you want people to bring you shit so you can just jack off on your fucking computer all day.
we're happy. Not once in my entire life did I ever think I would have a future like this. Like, up until now, I had never been in a safe environment, so I had no concept of that ever becoming a reality.
Oh my god, guys, my parents did everything they could for me. My grandparents did everything they could for me. Everybody in my life did everything they could, but I ran into one minor inconvenience and they shit in my pants, and therefore that's abuse because they shit in my pants and it got all over everywhere. It got all over my fucking groin region. It got all over my ass. It got all over my stomach. This is abuse, guys. This is the most horrific kind of abuse of all time, is being exposed to scat.
I fantasized about a future like this since I was very little.
I fantasized about scat porn, guys.
And now I'm here. I'm still mentally ill, I'm struggling, I'm still healing from my past.
Oh, great.
But
there's a lot of mental work to do, Birdie, yeah.
I'm happy and I'm safe, and I have a chance at life.
Oh, yeah.
I
bet.
Never had that before.
Dude, this is like the most poorly aged thing that exists on YouTube. Like, everything that, we have to understand, everything that Birdie's saying here, being secure and everything, boy, would that not last long once Cinnabear got exposed. Oh my gosh.
And I never could have done that without Cinny.
Wow, what a cute story. I'm sure this happiness will last forever.
I've been an irresponsible content creator.
Even Lord Crust knows that this didn't age well.
And I've been acting inappropriately towards my fans. This alone is enough for me to realize I need to make sweeping changes to how I conduct myself and how I interact with my fans. But the most serious thing I've done is I've groomed a minor. I became friends with a 14-year-old after I made a mental note to myself to not become friends with minors again.
Yeah, so as established, I already have a video covering the Cinnabear03 allegations, but if you haven't seen it and need some context, let's just say it's a pretty open and shut case. Essentially, Cinnabear was exposed for sending art that depicted gore, fetish content, and rape to minors, and ended up admitting to it in a video that was later taken down.
Yeah, and also, it's not like they were doing it... I don't know. I'm going to use Ava Tyson as an example because a lot of people tend to blow Ava Tyson's situation out of proportion. Again, I don't think Ava Tyson is a good person. A lot of people were saying that Ava Tyson was grooming minors, and that's just, like, not true. Like, it's pretty obvious that, like, the messages that Ava Tyson was sending was not appropriate, and I don't think Ava Tyson should be a content creator because they have to be responsible. But they weren't trying to use the normalized, edgy, inappropriate, like, jokes and comments that they were making in the Discord to try to, like, wear down the minors' boundaries to groom them or anything. Like, that's basically what the evidence communicates. Unfortunately, a lot of people blew that situation out of proportion. There's a lot of misinformation about the Ava Tyson situation. The Lolcow shit is, like, to me, the worst thing that Ava's done, which kind of makes her just not a good person. This situation was not edgy jokes. It was Cinnabear very clearly trying to get the minor to wear down their boundaries so they could engage sexually. It's a pretty open and shut case. It's pretty disgusting and gross. It's, I would say that more likely than not that this is like a form of grooming that Cinnabear engaged in. Again, videos on the channel if you guys want to know more.
Speaking of taking down videos, while I was working on this video, Cinnabear privated her entire catalog, which resulted in one of the
well, not anymore. We reacted to her final apology. Again, 3 months ago. That's a reaction we did. Was it 3 months or 2 months ago? I don't remember.
largest viewership count decreases I've ever seen on YouTube. But anyway, there were notably 2 Google documents that outlined allegations against Cinnabear that were released in September of 2024. Birdie released his video, "My roommate groomed a 14-year-old, I need help," the same day that the second document written by Eno was released, or more specifically, September 15th. The video has a bit of an entertaining beginning, I cannot lie.
Okay, I have to be kind of quiet because Cindy is in the other room because she called in sick from work today. But let me pull up my script.
This motherfucker is making his expose on Cindy Bear while she is in the next room. I cannot help but find that fucking hilarious.
That is funny.
Could he not wait until tomorrow or the day after?
Guys, I have to speak in this ASMR voice. Cinnabear is in the other room, guys. This is dangerous. Yeah, dude, this whole expose video that Birdie made was like making it about themselves. And they weren't like focused on the 14-year-old at all. It was so fucking insane. I'm gonna be so for real. I don't think Birdie cares that Cinnabear was freaky with a fucking 14-year-old. I don't think she I don't think Birdie cares at all, quite frankly. I think what Birdie cares about more is the optics of it. Birdie cares that it got exposed out into the world, and they don't want to be seen as bad by being in the same room as Cinnabear. The fact that it happened is not something that I don't think Birdie gives a shit about whatsoever.
After or what? I mean, he calls it an emergency to make the video, but I do not understand why you would rush something like this. The internet would not have noticed if Birdie had released his video a day or two later, but whatever, it's a minor point. Birdie goes on to provide some context of how they encountered the allegation and additionally clarifies that they condemn Cindy Bear and don't blindly support her just because they live together.
I just don't buy it. I really do think that Birdie thinks that Cinnabear is a fucking weird freak.
Though notably, Birdie does repeat quite a few times that he doesn't know the extent of Cindy's actions. So hey Birdie, maybe you should go watch my last video, and then you can come back and watch this one. Birdie then states that he's looking to move out and will begin doing emergency commissions in order to raise money for it.
Emergency commissions. Guys, if you need any furry porn, just hit me up. Guys, let me know if you need something to finger yourself to. Just hit me up, guys.
That isn't his only intended method of fund acquisition, though.
If you want to help me get to a safe place, I've set up a GoFundMe. I've never done this before, so hope I'm doing it right. All expenses will go towards me moving to another place.
Ah, well I suppose that's a potential motivation for why Birdie rushed this video out. It seems likely to me that he wanted to capitalize on the recency of the allegation in order to get donations from people who didn't know any better.
It's probably true. I wouldn't doubt that they did absolutely nothing. Help Jack get to safety. Jesus Christ.
Campaign ended up
everything is a fucking... Every inconvenience to Jack is a fucking... Birdie. Every inconvenience to them is like some form of abuse or danger or like the worst possible narrative that you could think of.
Raising a total of 11.
When in reality, both Birdie and Jack fucking suck. Birdie and Cinnabear, they both are terrible fucking people.
1,110 USD. However, I've seen several claims with evidence that the money did not get used as advertised and instead went towards furthering Birdie's My Little Pony merch collection, which, okay buddy. The person who initially made this claim was a Twitter user by the name of Queen, and they are actually the individual who temporarily housed Birdie after the release of this video. Temporarily because Birdie got kicked out, of course, which led to Birdie accusing Queen of being a manipulative, abusive hoarder, of course. Not before Birdie decided to ditch a shitload of his possessions at Queen's house, which seems to be becoming a bit of a signature move at this point. But most notably, those possessions included the ashes of that ferret that he sexually assaulted.
Oh great, may their ashes hopefully not be shoved up my ass.
And also,
hopefully they can rest in peace, not smelling the sewage that is Birdie's ass.
So called his daughter, Chara. Now to be fair, in regards to the GoFundMe claim, Birdie did actually respond with an explanation when he was confronted on it. Well, I say he responded, but the messages claim that it's Birdie's PR responding, which is fucking hilarious to me because that either means that he's lying about having public representation, or he got public representation over people criticizing him online for being a freak. But regardless, this PR claims that Birdie is sat on the GoFundMe cash and it was actually just the money he earned from commissions that he spent on the My Little Pony merch, which I suppose is some semblance of a defense, although I still find it fucking ridiculous considering he's claiming to be flat broke, starving, and at risk of homelessness. But anyway, Birdie continues the video explaining how he intends on escaping from Cindy Bear's place.
Honestly, I don't even know where I'm gonna go. I don't know what the rest of my life is gonna be.
We never do, Birdie. That's the beauty of life, is we don't know where it's gonna take us. You see, wow, Birdie, this is such a contrast to what you were talking about earlier about, like, healing from your past and then, like, being with Cinnabar, being happy and you're hopeful for the future. This is such a contrast to that. Wow.
I'm gonna talk to my family later. I highly doubt I'll be able to stay with any of them because, you know.
Big think as to why that would be. If my understanding...
Yeah, I mean, they burn their bridges, so of course they're not going to be able to talk to their family.
And the story is correct, then Birdie basically accused these people, his own family, of being physically, emotionally, and sexually abusive.
Yeah, so Birdie burned the bridge there, so...
This relatively large YouTube platform when, as far as I'm concerned, all these people really did was push Birdie to try and look after himself and not be so reliant on others. Even in the unlikely instance that everything...
Where did the sexual part come from? I mean, like I said, you can't really trust Birdie's retelling of it, so they probably just threw that lie in there just because it sounds bad to the general public. But, like, why did Birdie think that, like, saying sexual... Why? Where did that part even come from? Like, because usually, if you want to be a good liar, like, good lies are built off of an ounce of truth.
Birdie has claimed about them is...
Not saying you should lie, by the way, guys, just to be clear.
Correct. Why would, one, Birdie even want to move back in with them? And two, why would they want to take Birdie back if Birdie has already aired out how horrible they are online, probably for the whole local town to see? That's honestly the main thing. None of these people have online careers. There was no reason for Birdie to make a half-hour-long segment airing out personal family drama, especially when considering the fact that Birdie's old therapist, for example, but additionally his family and friends have found his videos and watched them.
I didn't have anybody IRL to confide in, and even when I did, they would talk about me on the internet or watch videos about me. My own parents did this, which is hilarious. Like, I'm pretty sure they watched Birdie rants together on their TV. This is like cartoon villainy.
I have a personal...
Wow, Jesus Christ. Birdie really thinks that the entire world is out to get them. They have such a, like, what a victim complex. Hey, guys, my parents who have tried to help me so much, my parents are doing the worst possible things to me. They sexually abused me. Like, these other people were abusing me. My parents are watching me on the TV, like, hate videos about me totally, when that's probably not even happening. And then this fucking, like, other guy who was going to take me to Maryland was emotionally abusing me as well. And then Cinnabar was abusing me, and my grandparents were abusing me, and everyone else was abusing me, and I was taken advantage of by everybody. Dude, like, it's such a victim complex.
Life abuse, but you guys sure as shit aren't hearing about it unless it's anecdotally relevant to a point or it somehow comes online, and even then I'm gonna do my best not to disclose any of the parties involved. I mean, this motherfucking Birdie seemingly accuses every single person that comes within a 10-meter radius of him of abuse without evidence, so of course people are gonna start poking holes in his story, especially if he starts asking for 10k to solve a problem that he seemingly made for himself. What's pretty absurd is that, as far as I'm concerned, Birdie is currently staying with another family member, so genuinely, what did that 11,110 USD go towards other than My Little Pony merch? Because it seemingly wasn't the advertised housing or food, which I would say, if is the case, makes the campaign a scam. Either way, seemingly right before Birdie released his My Roommate Groomed a 14-year-old I Need Help video, he accused Cinnabar of sexual assault, which he included the audio of in the video.
Oh yeah, I saw that, by the way. Basically, the sexual assault claim against Cinnabar is a nothing burger. Basically, they were both cuddling, and I think Cinnabar was, like, asking Birdie if she could poke Birdie's ass, basically, and Birdie said, yes, I consented to it. And I'm like, oh, okay, case closed. You literally consented in the heat of the moment. Basically, Birdie retroactively is saying that it's sexual assault because Birdie got, Cinnabar had their allegations against them. It was just like a jump on the bandwagon. The claims of sexual assault are, like, totally bullshit. It's also, like, really dumb to throw in a sexual assault claim when Cinnabar has other valid allegations against them. So, like, talk about that and keep the focus on the 14-year-old, but Birdie doesn't do that. Birdie just makes it about themselves.
This whole thing has made me realize that you have been inappropriate with me, too.
Wait, how?
You know how I told you not to, like poke me in the butt or, like, on my crotch, and
whoa,
you still do it?
Oh,
Don't squish my ass, guys. I wish I had a chick whose ass I could squish.
Wait, do I do it in the crotch, Ellie?
Like, I don't know, sometimes. You still make jokes about, like, fingering me and stuff, and you asked me to sit on your face that one time. Like, that's not, like, that's a sexual situation that you were gonna put me in, like...
Yeah, but you consented to all of it, so... Like, what, you're 19 or 20 years old? You're a legal adult, so... I don't know, time to put on your big boy pants, or big girl pants, or big boy. Yeah, no, I was right the first time.
I consented to it because I didn't know what kind of touching was and wasn't okay, but now that I'm, like, putting the pieces together, now that I've, like, stepped back and took in the whole view of the situation, you haven't been treating a lot of people right. Like, your hypersexuality can only go so far. Like,
I'm pretty sure Cinnabear opened up about this in her apology video, but the reason why Cinnabear is such a hypersexual individual is because they were exposed to tons of porn online, which I do believe, by the way. That is probably true. That doesn't justify what they did to that 14-year-old, obviously. And I still don't think Cinnabear should come back to content creation, but... Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. Like, I feel like as we progress more and more and the years go by, we are having more and more conversations about how much access should kids have to the internet. I had pretty much access to whatever the fuck you could find, so... I don't know, for better or for worse. Probably for worse, but oh well.
Like, at this point, you're taking advantage of your fans, and you've taken advantage of me, and I'm gonna be honest, Cindy, I don't want to live with you anymore.
Oh no! The heartbreak! We're breaking up, guys.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I draw a line here. I can't have you doing these things with kids. I can't live with someone who is taking...
I don't think you give a shit about that. You don't really care that they're fucking around with kids. You just care about how it looks to you, Birdie, alright? Shut the fuck up.
An advantage of children. I can't.
Oh my god, great.
Don't want to anymore.
But you still did, and that's the issue. You can't undo this. Like, you have done this with so many people, and It's okay.
It's okay. I know you were fucking around with kids. It's okay. But, yeah, you can't come back from this. But it's okay. It's okay.
No. No,
It's okay.
I want to be better.
It's okay. It's okay. I know you were fucking around with the 14-year-old and you were sending them some weird-ass shit, but, like, it's okay.
I want to do better. I want to do
You
better.
can't come back from this.
Oh, but you can't come back from this. Birdie, pick a fucking thing to say. Pick a narrative and stick with it, please.
You can't come back. You can... It's okay, but Cindy...
Jack, I cannot lose you.
I can't lose you, mate. I can't lose you.
I don't...
I can't lose you, mate.
feel safe here anymore after learning what happened.
Jack,
Dude...
My ass is no longer safe in the presence of Cinnabear.
I was fucking crying.
No more booty squishes for you, Cinnabear. You lost your booty squishing privileges.
My eyes out earlier when I found out what you did.
Jack, please.
It broke my heart, Cindy, that you would do that.
Honestly, just an odd conversation. About half a month after this video's release on October 4th, Birdie ended up posting this frankly bizarre piece of art which claimed to depict the incident.
Oh my god, vent art. Yeah, because I'm sure if somebody went through sexual assault, they would draw art of it and post it online for tons of people to see their trauma. That's a great way to deal with it, Birdie.
They bizarre because who the fuck draws their supposedly traumatic sexual assault? I at least don't think I've seen that before, but regardless, Birdie proceeds to include these messages from Cinnabear in which she attempts to defend herself. As with a lot of the story, this is another instance of he said, she said, as a lot of the evidence that Birdie presented, I would say, doesn't really indicate that a assault did or didn't happen.
It didn't happen. It's such a nothing burger. Birdie is just calling it sexual assault to make themselves feel good.
However, I do have to point out how convenient this timing from Birdie is. Don't get me wrong, Cindy Bear is a freak who has sent inappropriate messages to a minor, but
sure, yeah.
If she also sexually assaulted Birdie, why is that only coming out now when it's a convenient career move for Birdie?
Also, right when I got finished recording, Cindy said this to me when I went to check Discord, so yeah. But, like, I need to get out of here. I don't feel safe here anymore. The public needs to know this information. Like, this is a public matter, and I'm gonna be the first to voice this publicly because if somebody else went first, everybody would go after me. And don't worry, I am, like, speed running this. I'm, like, going through this as fast as I can just so I can, like...
Faster, Cindy! Faster, 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 Cindy!
Just so I...
Faster, Cindy, or else I'll leave the house!
I can get this out as quick as I can, so...
Sorry, I maybe I'm on one in, like, the second half of this video. Maybe I should chill out, guys. I don't know. It's hard to chill out when we're dealing with this side of the internet. Oh my god, I just noticed Derpy Hooves is in the right-hand side of this Birdie thing.
So everyone's...
I used to be a brony, guys, okay? Don't judge me. I have a video reacting to a Gamer of Mars video. If you guys want to check that out and know more about it, again, it's on my channel.
It's educated.
Ah, so the other motivation for rushing out the video is narrative control. I mean, that isn't inherently a bad thing, but it is quite bizarre that Birdie acknowledges if he wasn't to do so first, the internet would be against him. Either way, the large majority of the rest of the 30-minute video is just Birdie going over the Cindy Bear allegations, which again, I've already covered in a video, so I have no interest in rehashing them here. However, Birdie does provide some additional claims in regards to his experiences with Cindy Bear. Specifically, he claims that before moving in, Cindy Bear had... Fuck, this is so deranged. Specifically, Birdie claims that before moving in, Cindy Bear had sent art of Birdie raping Cindy Bear to the roommate that Cindy Bear had before Birdie moved in.
Why does everybody have a fucking rape fetish in the art community? I don't get it. Like, rape is like an actual traumatic thing. Like, I understand, like, CNC, consent, non-consent, is like a kink for many people, and usually people who have CNC kinks have actually been sexually assaulted, and that's like their way of coping or dealing with it. So in that case I understand it, but like this is like actual like rape art. Like, I don't know why so many of these people are into rape. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Birdie was informed of this by the aforementioned ex-roommate, however, moved in anyway. Look, I'm gonna be real, all of the descriptions of Cindy Bear sexually assaulting Birdie just sound like awkward sexual encounters in which the lack or presence of consent wasn't made particularly clear to either party. So I find it difficult to definitively state whether there was or wasn't sexual misconduct from Cindy Bear, at least in regards to Birdie, obviously. I wouldn't say Cindy confessed or anything in the confrontation, she just sounded confused, so I honestly have no opinion on this accusation, especially considering how unreliable of a narrator Birdie is. Interestingly, Birdie also stated that Cindy Bear had met his family, so here's the clip of that.
It took one conversation for my happy ending to just be ripped out from under me. My friendship with Cindy was all a lie. The opportunity she gave me, her saving my life. We celebrated Christmas together. We celebrated Thanksgiving together. My whole family treated her like she was part of us. Even my parents. We went on vacation with family in Seattle for 4 days very recently. My grandparents paid to fly me and Cindy out to Seattle, and they don't even know her. They gave her $300 to, like, spend in Seattle, and they didn't even know her. They were so kind and generous to her, and she ended up being a predator. She fucking broke my heart.
Let me remind you that...
Yeah, again, Birdie's just making it about themselves. Broke my heart. You hurt me. I don't give a fuck about that 14-year-old. You hurt me.
These are the same parents and grandparents who were supposedly abusive. Interesting how the described demeanor completely changes when it's convenient to Birdie's narrative of Cindy being a horrible person because she was ungrateful to Birdie's extraordinarily generous parents. Also, don't forget that Birdie was saying in the exact same video 10 minutes beforehand that he doubted he would be able to get housing from his family. I mean,
yeah, again, because Birdie burned the bridge, but then all of a sudden when it's convenient, how dare Cindy not accept the hospitality and generousness of my parents? Like, okay, Birdie, so when you don't accept the generosity and hospitality from your parents, that's like a form of abuse, and they're trying to abuse you. But when they are doing the same thing with Cinnabear, suddenly Cinnabear is the rude one. Like, how, in what world does that make any sense other than Birdie just making a mental justification that's going to paint Birdie in the best possible light?
I could certainly believe it.
It's like Birdie can do absolutely no wrong. They can never admit that they're wrong on anything. Like, they just refuse. It just doesn't compute in their brain that anything that they do is wrong.
Although, after hearing that they went on vacation with them and Birdie's family was very kind to Birdie and Cinnabear, who was essentially a stranger to them, well after Birdie had already made their video accusing them of insane shit, it makes me extremely dubious. The next element of the story would be the tweets that came after this video, although I want to show you this clip first.
One time she wanted to find a character AI adjacent thing that let her sext with the AI, and her friends didn't give her anything. One time I was cuddling with her and I was on top of her and we were watching something while she was sexting. The time I was...
Cut out a bit of Birdie explaining how Cindy spoke to her server full of minors to get tech support on her sexbot AI. Wow, that's totally appropriate. It's totally not a pattern of behavior that Cindy is exhibiting with being just super inappropriate around minors.
I was cuddling with her and I was on top of her and we were watching something while she was sexting with the AI. I said something like, "Oh, your heart's beating really fast. You must be scared of whatever we're watching." And she said, "Oh no, it's for..."
Oh, when your heart beats fast. I'm sure you would know the feeling, Mr. Birdie.
For another reason, and I had to tell her to stop sexting with the AI while I...
What's the matter, Birdie? Were you getting jealous that Cindy was finding a partner through AI?
Was there.
Wow.
Imagine getting cheated on by an AI. That's gotta be super fucking demoralizing.
What an exciting and bright future we have for the human race, getting cucked by an AI chatbot. Regardless, like I said, it's about time we talk about those tweets.
I have never done anything like what Cindy has done. I would never endanger a child just to get off.
Well, I don't know. It's a little bit, I don't know. Would you actually do that? I don't know if you really care. It's hard to say. Birdie is a fucking degenerate. I wouldn't be so sure about that.
First notable one would be this tweet from the day after the video "My Roommate Groomed a 14-Year-Old, I Need Help" was released, or more specifically, September 16th. Within, Birdie states that overnight, his GoFundMe had hit half its goal, so roughly 5K. It looks like rushing that video out in an attempt to control the narrative worked out pretty well for Birdie. Well, at least at first. You can actually see this in the comment section of his video, with overwhelming support being visible from around the time that the video released, followed by about 3 months later a bunch of highlight comments talking about how the older ones had aged terribly. The following day, on September 17th, Birdie declares that he had managed to escape from Cinnabear's place with the cat Squirp, however had to leave the other one, Stupid, behind. He also talked about making a second video on Cinnabear, however that prospect lasted all of about a couple days because the situation got too dangerous to cover or something. The next notable tweets are from about 10 days later, on the 29th of September. Birdie had a bit of a spike in activity this day, releasing a metric shitload of tweets, including a 6-tweet thread. The first one states that Birdie had to put his commission artwork he was doing for people to raise money on hold because his Cash App and PayPal had begun declining. This was followed about 9 hours later by Birdie claiming that Cinnabear had his password. Singular, I may note, and had used it to break into his Discord to screenshot logs of Birdie talking about Cinnabear. The damage
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
which had already supposedly been done though, as Birdie had to change his password to his bank account and email. It does seem to me as if he had the same password for all of his accounts, which is a mistake I'm sure some of you watching are guilty of and
don't call me out like that, Lord Crust. You don't know that.
Should probably fix.
How would you know,
Shortly after
Try to guess my password, Lord Crust. I dare you.
this video,
Come at me.
of course, Or not, I don't care. Either way, about an hour or two later, Birdie starts the 6-tweet thread stating that he had the realization he had left his old PC at Cinebear's place. So does that mean Cinebear didn't have his one password and just turned on his computer instead? Also, how the fuck is Birdie this terminally online but still managed to leave his whole ass PC logged in with all his personal details and accounts available at the place of the person he's, well, backstabbing, for lack of a better word? This is some Oxy Monster Rick Shifter type shit, a fucking level 1 OPSEC type beat. Either way, that isn't even the most insane claim that Birdie lobbies against Cinebear in his 6-tweet thread. He also tried to claim that Cinebear wants to kill him. I suppose that's the danger that Birdie was referring to preventing the second video from being made. His evidence for this are these oddly cropped screenshots of text that Cinebear had sent to a mutual friend of Cinebear and Birdie. Within, Cine states that she wants Birdie to die because of how unfair his treatment of her has been, as well as stating that she wanted to kill Birdie. Both of these have no context as to the conversation preceding or following the statements. However, my basic intuition tells me that Cine is not genuinely threatening to murder Birdie. It's more just a figure of speech to express her frustration with Birdie turning his back on her due to being exposed. There was also this long-ass lunacy-filled text in which Cinebear was talking about how she acquired weaponry because she had the belief that someone was in her apartment attempting to kill her.
Wow. That is, it somehow gets heavier.
I don't know, delusional shit as per with these two, I guess. The weapons she
They deserve each other, genuinely. I think Cinebear and Birdie are just so fucking insane, mentally unstable, and they are both very clearly just, like, so fucking degenerate in, like, the worst possible ways that I genuinely think they deserve each other. Like, if they were life partners, that just wouldn't shock me in the least bit. I'm surprised that Birdie even, like, took a stand on this, to be honest.
Specified were a knife, pepper spray,
not that they don't really care about the child getting abused by Cinebear, but still.
Crowbar, and she was intending on getting a firearm down the line as well. Birdie was framing it as if these items were supposed to be a part of Cinebear's Hitman toolset that she was going to use to take Birdie out. This was followed by Birdie presenting a story about one of the last times they hung out together, assumedly in an attempt to display that Cinebear was unstable and capable of snapping and killing him at any moment. Either way, Birdie states the last time Cinebear was driving them home from dinner, she said, "What if I crashed and killed us both?" To which Birdie responded, "That wouldn't be ideal." Cinebear supposedly then replied, "But it would be," which apparently led into a conversation in which Birdie tried talking Cinebear out of crashing and killing them both. Sometime later in the same drive home, Cinebear supposedly stated, "I want to do the thing that BoJack Horseman did, where he lets go of the steering wheel and drives at 100 miles per hour." Now, Birdie does clarify that...
I mean, I haven't watched BoJack Horseman, or as I like to call it, Jack Off Horseman. Got him. But I'm pretty sure that that's not really the message that you're supposed to take away from that scene in BoJack Horseman. I haven't seen the show, so maybe someone can correct me in the comments.
He took this as a joke, however, still attempts to use it to display how unstable Cinebear was. Unfortunately for Birdie though, there is no evidence for this drive home conversation, let alone the BoJack Horseman part, and it's no secret that Birdie is fucking obsessed with that show.
I love South Park, BoJack Horseman,
Jack Off Horseman.
Kind of ironic because I think he misses just about every lesson that show attempted to tell, but regardless.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I've never seen the show. I was just, like, bringing that up as food for thought. I wasn't entirely sure if maybe I was mistaken or not.
As much as I could totally see Cinebear being deranged and actually stating this, I could just as easily see Birdie fabricating this part of the story in an attempt to dramatize or exaggerate the claim that Cine was an unhinged mob hitman who was going to beat him to death with a crowbar. Anyway, the next relevant tweets are from about 5 days later on October 4th when Birdie expanded upon the hacking situation. Birdie had managed to get a key to Cine's place and, well, just wandered in, I guess, because he claimed not only had Cinebear hooked up Birdie's PC to her own, but Birdie had also left his laptop behind, which was hidden in a drawer, as well as his USB flash drive, which was...
Why the fuck is Birdie, like, tweeting out all of this shit, by the way? Hey, like, guys, little update. It feels like a fucking ARG. Am I watching, like, a McJuggernuggets Psycho video or something of people, like, posting their, like, day in the life of this crazy shit happening?
Completely hidden. Yeah, so assuming this is true, that's arguably the crime of hacking being committed by Cinebear, and it's most definitely a breach of Birdie's privacy. Just because the computers were left in her property does not mean that Cine can just go sifting through the contents of the hard drive. Regardless, the final notable tweet is from about a month later on November 9th, where Birdie claimed that he was leaving the internet for a while due to all the drama. What drama, you may be wondering? Well, Despite this line in this video about Cinebear.
All of my artwork is 16 plus, like I said, but I'd like to make it a point that this animation has a suggestive nature, so you know what you're in for, because I'm not a freak, unlike Cine.
Birdie had actually received allegations of his own in regards to inappropriate conduct with minors. The most recent and relevant of which has to do with when Birdie commented on the fan art of a 15-year-old fan encouraging them. The main issue is that this 15-year-old fan was drawing what they described as a hypersexual version of Birdie's persona. This version of Birdie's persona is apparently a pre-established character on Birdie's NSFW 18+ Twitter account, which
Dude, who failed these kids? What, like, why the fuck is this even happening? Like, why are there kids drawing, like, weird-ass fucking shit online? Like, listen, I've seen some weird-ass shit when I was a kid as well, but, like, Jesus fucking Christ, it has never been this bad.
Has limited followers. I've also found some artwork posted by Birdie on his Tumblr that depicts this hypersexual persona, so I guess it is possible that the fan found it there. Although I have no idea how to check the date of when something was posted on this forsaken website. Although I do honestly think that just makes it worse, because that means he's posting his hypersexual persona for all of the children in his audience to see, like this 15-year-old. Either way, Birdie's NSFW Twitter account has well over 4,000 followers, which does make me wonder whether or not he's applied any thought to the individuals that he allows into the account, especially when considering the general age of the art animation community's audience. I mean, his bio claims that he does, but to be honest, the stuff that he posts on his main accounts is already pretty questionable to be exposing children to. Both of the characters depicted have self-harm scarring, and I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that this 15-year-old's art is heavily influenced by Birdie. If you look at some of their other posts, they have declared Birdie as their BPD favorite person and expressed fantasies of Birdie returning to YouTube with a deeper voice and stable life. Yeah, I think that one's staying as a fantasy, buddy. Obviously, with just one glance at this person's account, you can tell they're an obsessive fan that Birdie should not engage with, else risk encouraging them to sink deeper into their unhealthy obsession. I have seen the claim that Birdie responds to pretty much every single piece of fan art online, which does semi-serve as a defense. However, it more just leads me to the conclusion that Birdie should apply more of a standard to what and who he engages with online, especially when considering his stylization of art and the fact that he's trying to criticize Cinebear for very similar actions. Now, you may have noticed that I'm still yet to elaborate on how those cats, Squirp and Stupid, were going to be relevant later. Well, you see, on October 19th, Birdie had released a tweet which accused Cinebear of stealing his cat, Squirp. This was apparently important enough for Cinebear to break her hiatus and respond to, because she ended up releasing her final video, at least as of the moment, on YouTube.
Jack is claiming that I have possession of Squirp, that I successfully took her from him, but I don't have her. I have no idea where my cat is, and I don't know if he's even aware of where she is.
Well, didn't the neighbor take the cat? I remember this part of the story very vaguely.
Jack took her from my apartment when he left, and left her at a friend's house, and I've been fighting by way of the legal system to try and bring her home. It's been a long, drawn-out process. He states I have her, but I haven't received her. I have no idea where she is, and that's why I'm making this video. My cat is not safe in his care. If Jack cannot handle—
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess, funny enough, you know, Birdie might actually— or no, wait, no, this is Cinebear talking. Fuck, I can't even tell them apart anymore. They have a very distinct voice, too, so it's not like they sound similar. But, like, Cinebear might actually be right here. Like, I think Cinebear would be a much better owner than Birdie, funny enough, even though Cinebear is a dog shit human being.
Himself, then I don't believe he can properly take care of an animal. I have on multiple occasions come home from work with all the lights being off in the apartment, and the—
Yeah, I mean, who would want, like, a fucking bird to take care of a cat, you know? It's fucking crazy. A mockingbird, or mockingjay.
Cat's not having any food—
Or have a parrot take care of your cat, imagine.
Or water or attention, because Jack spent all day in bed and never got up to take care of them. Jack is seemingly physically disabled, possibly from a heart condition. The reason I say
I don't believe it.
Seemingly is because Jack doesn't have any form of diagnosis.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
And I don't know if I should definitively state that he has a condition. He very likely does have a condition of some
He probably doesn't.
kind that affects his day-to-day life, but I just don't know that for certain.
Heavy doubt on that one.
I don't think him having a disability voids him of the responsibility he chose when he begged me to adopt Squirp. I don't know if Jack knows where the cat is. If he doesn't know where Squirp is, then he needs to fucking question his friends, because that means they're hiding the cat from him. And if he does know, then he's actively lying to his audience about where my cat is. by painting a picture of me as a terrible cat abuser who stole Squirt from him. I'm really fucking concerned because I keep getting messages from a shelter saying that Squirt was found, and when I checked in with the shelter, they weren't holding her anymore. Where the fuck is my cat? I have been going through hell trying to get her back. I went to police, animal control, the city prosecutor. Izzy, the friend I believe to be holding the cat, was sent a legal notice to return my cat, as well as the many items that Jack stole from me when he left.
Wow, that's crazy. You know, I want to feel bad for Cinnabear, but I just don't. I just don't really fucking care about any of... Like, this whole cat drama... Like, I just don't care. Cinnabear, you're a bad person. I don't care about your cat. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not really concerned about the cat right now when your fucking allegations should be the main focus of conversation. Feels like this is just a distraction from that.
And when he later entered my apartment after I changed the locks.
So, Birdie is the real cat thief then? This is honestly fucking disgusting. I mean, none of these freaks should be looking after cats, but especially not Birdie, the guy who can barely feed himself a fucking granola bar.
That's true as well. Birdie can barely feed themselves. They can't feed other animals.
Don't get me wrong, Cinnabear should not be looking after them either, especially after statements like this.
Jack says he came into my apartment to visit Stupid, which was while I was at work, and he did this without my permission or my—
Surprised Cinnabear even has a fucking job after their allegations, not gonna lie. I guess they do a pretty good job of separating their online life and their real life.
My knowledge. He says I'm not taking care of her because when he came over, my apartment was dirty and the floor was covered in litter and Stupid's nails weren't clipped. And I'm so fucking annoyed because as soon as I came home, the same day he came over, hours after he left, I came home and I was on my hands and knees scrubbing the floor. I swept, I mopped, and I scrubbed the floor to lift up the caked on litter and cat food. I made that floor sparkle.
I have no idea.
I made that floor sparkle with my fucking fluids when me and Birdie did it on the ground.
Yeah, how would you...
I really have to stop. I gotta stop doing that, man. Maybe there's something I'm trying to communicate to you guys.
It gets to the point where there is cat litter caked on the floor, but at least you can fucking feed them, I guess. Regardless, it seems as if we don't have to worry about either of them being in possession of the cat, because according to Cinnabear, when Birdie came over and stole the cat, he ended up dropping it off at a mate's house. This mate goes by the name of Izzy, and yeah, I trust him about as much as I trust Cinny to look after that cat. Here's a confrontation between Cinny and Izzy that was added at the end of the video.
Hi. What are you doing?
I'm here for my cat.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Cynthia, you're not allowed here.
What do you mean?
Cynthia, go home.
Your father let me inside.
Yeah.
Where's my cat?
I wouldn't give her to you.
What do you mean?
Because she's not your cat.
Yes, she is. Where is my cat?
Cynthia, no.
What do you mean, no?
Cynthia, go home.
What do you mean, no? She's literally my cat. I have the paperwork. I can show you the paperwork, actually.
Cynthia, just because you bought this cat for Jack. You said you bought this cat for Jack.
That means literally nothing.
That does mean something. You bought this cat for Jack, yes? You bought this cat for Jack.
That doesn't mean anything.
Cynthia, simple yes or
That
no?
does not matter.
Cynthia, did you buy this cat for Jack?
That doesn't matter.
Cynthia, did you buy this cat?
Izzy, my name
It's obviously a yes.
is on the paperwork.
Cindy.
He will not take care of her.
Cindy, go home or I will.
Well, I mean, that's probably true. So Jack would be a fucking terrible owner for the cat.
911.
And
Like I said, who wants a fucking bird to own their cat? That's crazy work.
like, what are they gonna do?
Go home or I will call 911. Go. Is this cat yours? I mean,
Yes.
did you
Yes.
buy this cat?
Yes.
Yes?
She's my cat. I spent the money. I signed the paperwork.
Did
Give me
Jack
my
give
cat.
this cat back. Didn't Jack give you the money for your cat?
I can't say that for sure. Do you know how long ago that was? Like 6 months ago.
That's a year ago.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Cynthia,
why are you fighting me so hard on this?
because
You literally, I gave you a letter.
this is for Jack. This cat is for Jack, Cynthia.
Give me my cat.
Well, it's my cat now.
What do you mean it's your cat now?
You can figure that out. But
Figure
Cynthia,
that out. Okay.
you bought this cat for Jack. You did. You bought this cat for Jack.
Yeah, back when I thought, you know, do you want to know how much he did for this cat?
A lot.
Cuddled with it, like I'm sure that's the most he really did. Cleaned the litter boxes when I asked him to, like only when I asked him to. You know how?
You did admit that you bought this cat for Jack.
Yeah, sure. For Jack, it's still my cat.
Cynthia, why are you even here?
I don't really know how that works legally. I mean, personally, I don't really care. Like, I don't have a lot of commentary I can give over this cat part because I just don't really give a fuck. about who owns it or not. Like, frankly, as long as Jack isn't owning it. Cinnabear would be a better owner, but I still don't think Cinnabear should own it. I don't know. I don't really have it in my heart to care that much about this, like, whole cat drama. It feels like a distraction from Cinnabear's allegations, and Jack's, too. Jack's degeneracy.
I would like to retrieve my cat.
No.
I don't trust you. I do not trust you with this cat.
Go.
I want my cat.
Cynthia, go.
I literally gave you, like, a court order.
Okay, and go before I call the cops.
I
will call the cops, Cynthia.
really cannot believe you.
Okay, I'll tell 911 then. Go. Get. Go.
Fuck you. Fuck you. God.
Go. Just go. Just go.
Fuck you.
And thank you.
You have until the 25th.
Ooh, you have until the 25th. I'm so threatened by Cinnabear. Cinnabear is so big and strong. Oh, no.
You have until the 25th before, and I will.
Well.
Fucking.
Jack.
What the fuck? It sounds like she said the N-word with a hard R there for a second. I don't think she did, but, like, still.
Doesn't fucking matter.
It's not.
It is my cat.
Bro, holy, imagine getting fucking debate broed over the custody of your own cat. I mean, disregarding the fact that she fucking paid for it, it's pretty clear that Cinny was the primary caretaker for the cat for the duration of Birdie's stay at her house. And, I mean, it's not as if there's a lack of trying to get the cat repossessed. I mean, she went through legal processes and even rolled up to Izzy's house. My only concern is in regards to the cleanliness. However, Cinny has already stated that that is something that she is actively improving. So yeah, overall, the worst party in this cat allegation is Birdie. What a fucking shocker.
Yeah, wow, color me surprised.
Genuinely, what the fuck was this?
Although I guess that color is not going to be the same color that Birdie's ferrets were when Birdie refused to feed those ferrets.
Guy thinking, oh,
pretty insane how that works.
I'm gonna do a Navy SEAL hostage rescue to relieve Cinnabear of possession of Squirt.
It's a whole Captain Price operation. We're sending in the SAS, you fucking cunt.
And then I'm going to, I don't know, give it to my friend, I guess? I know I can't look after it. Also, Cinny barely mentions it, but in one of the texts from Izzy, it appears as if she just admits to stealing a flash drive monitor and jewelry. This implies to me that when Birdie and Izzy went to Cinny's house to go repossess Squirp, they additionally stole a bunch of possessions from her, which, yeah, that implies to me that Izzy is fucked in the head, and it's not just because she's friends with Birdie. If the cat's well-being was genuinely of concern to these freaks, why are they only attempting to save Squirp after their big falling out? It just seems like an attempt to weaponize a problem they could give less of a shit about in order to drive the public narrative against Cinnabear. I mean, to be honest, out of all three of these freaks, that being Cinnabear, Birdie, and Izzy, I think Cinnabear honestly has the most right to the custody of that cat. By the way, I only realized while finalizing this video, but you know that person who temporarily housed Birdie after he moved out of Cinny's place, Queen? Well, that is Izzy. She's posted so many tweets flexing Squirp that I can't help but find her on.
I know this is out of nowhere, but some people are somewhat clueless about the whole cat situation. I did put a comment under a video which explains a lot. I hope. Also, I took a cute picture of Latte. Latte is your cat's name. That's a cute name. On my laundry. I woke her up accidentally when I turned the lights on. It's Squirp. I say Latte, it's Squirp. Hopefully it's a good name, because I think it is. Anyway, Jack is on the lease with Cinny, so he never broke in. The only reason why broke in was to grab his stuff and go, which is why he also took Latte. How do I know this? Every time... I can't really read the rest of this. Whatever. I guess Lord Crust is going to explain the summary of it. I probably shouldn't read it.
Well, that is Izzy. She's posted so many tweets flexing Squirp that I can't help but find her honestly vile. I mean, the cat is in a fucking banner like it's some sort of trophy, for fuck's sake.
It's probably just like a fucking flex or something.
Additionally, as explained in this fucking deranged wall of text written by Izzy, she is no longer friends with Birdie and Cinny, and has also renamed Squirp to Latte, which, holy fuck this person. They are wretched. There is not one sane person involved in this fucking drama.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know much about this Izzy person, to be clear. I mean, listen, they probably are a better owner than them. I don't fucking know. It's just like, fucking Jack is not going to be able to take an animal to save his own fucking life, because Jack is just such a worthless human being.
Fuck this
Birdie
person. They are wretched. There is not one sane person involved in this fucking drama.
Not really sure how this Izzy person is, like, wretched. I mean, I guess maybe just because they stole the cat, but I don't know. I just don't really care that much, personally. I'm not really that worked up over it, considering Cinny and Jack are not good people. Or Cinny and Jack are not good people. I thought I said it incorrectly, but that was the correct way the first time.
Get popular online at 12, but I received negative attention instead of the comfort and positivity that I wanted, and it broke me. I was trapped between worlds. I couldn't stay on the internet because it was killing me, but I also couldn't leave the internet because my home life was killing me. So I chose escapism, despite how much it was hurting me.
If you were to take Birdie and his words at face value, like the large majority of his audience at least originally did, well then you would believe that he has had one of the most unfair, hardship-filled lives of being perpetually abused by every single person he knows except for his siblings.
What a difficult life, man. Getting abused by every single person that you come into contact with. That stranger that said hi to you on the street, they abused you as well. It's terrible. It's a very tragic story for Birdie, clearly. Guys, can we get some 07s in the comments for Birdie, please? Give them a salute, and pray that one day they'll come back to YouTube so we can make some content again. Because, oh my gosh, content's fucking dry. Birdie, please come back. I need you to come back. Please, can you help a homie out and come back to YouTube, Birdie? Please? That's like the best thing you could do for me and for everybody else. Help us out, Birdie, please. Embrace your Lolcow arc. You could do it. Come on, go on Lolcow Live for Keemstar. I would actually react to a Lolcow Live episode if Birdie went on. I'm not even kidding.
It seems to me, though, that the one consistent factor in all those stories is Birdie himself. If every single person who attempts to provide support or care to Birdie, whether they family, friends, social worker, eventually ends up ostracized and labeled as abusive by Birdie, well, it begins to make me wonder whether the actual issue in all of these stories is Birdie, especially when Birdie has evidently lied about elements of their narrative, and the only evidence he's provided has been contradictory to his story. On top of that, the two people who got accused by Birdie that spoke about it publicly ended up denying the allegations and lobbying some of their own back at Birdie. Birdie is potentially...
Yeah, I mean, listen, I already believe them. Like, we've already reached a point where Birdie has such low credibility, and that Birdie's retelling of information is just to not be trusted in any fucking regard at all. That, like, whatever the allegations are levied at Birdie, I automatically believe them. I don't care what they are. They could be, like, pedophilia accusations, and I would believe them.
Even more degenerate than Cinebear, he has seemingly scammed his audience of 11,000 USD. He has basically accused countless people who did nothing but attempt to support him of abuse of all kinds. He has had numerous questionable online interactions with minors in which they discuss topics such as masochism or gore. He has self-admittedly suicide baited his own parents when they turned off the internet, and allegedly done the same when his 17-year-old who offered him housing tried to escape his emotionally abusive behavior. Birdie is a 20-year-old adult who has a perpetual victim mentality and inability to acknowledge fault for his actions, although it's very possible, if not likely, that he was the victim of abuse and grooming at a young age. That does not justify him reflecting the treatment that he received onto others.
I need you to understand that animation meme community was a breeding ground for grooming to take place. These kinds of videos were made for a child audience, and the adults in this community never called this out or took any action. What
am I fucking watching, dude? Why? There's so many degenerates in this community. There's so many fucking degenerates in the online art community. Like, why? These parents failed them, clearly.
A lot of the adults,
like, these people have no fucking good parents at all.
Here took advantage of people like me.
Oh, you're such a perpetual victim, Birdie. Oh my god. Oh, play the sad violin.
And they failed people like me.
Mr. Krabs' sad violin clip.
My parents failed me too. They knew what kinds of videos I was making and watching, and they even knew that I was being groomed, and they didn't do anything. It's funny, when they found out I was being groomed, albeit by a different guy, they grounded me for it. I don't know if you can tell, but my childhood is like cartoonishly messed up.
Honestly, if everything Birdie is saying is true, and my, to be honest, large amount of conjecture is incorrect, and especially if it's correct, for Birdie's own mental and physical health, he should not be online, as almost everything he does on the internet seemingly has a detrimental effect to either himself or others. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. The next video in the art commentary community saga can finally address what this and the Cinebear03 video have been building up to. The YouTuber Just a Robot.
Well, we already watched that long behemoth of a video. Guys, if you want to see my Just a Robot video, it's on the channel. Lord Crust made the video, and yeah, guys, go check that out. I did a reaction to it. Yeah! Also, go check out Lord Crust as well. He's pretty solid, all things considered. I probably disagreed with him on like a few takes, but he's pretty good. He knows his stuff.
Like or dislike the video depending on how you felt about it. Feel free to leave a comment with feedback or criticism. Subscribe with the notification bell hit to be notified of my future uploads. And thank you to the two big dogs who have generously paid for a membership to my channel, Nodos and Miss Fox McCoy. I have you to thank for my continued existence. Oh, I also got a new camera if you can't tell.
We can't really tell, but boss man, it's angled in such a weird way. You always have it at the uncomfortable angle, but that's your shtick. That's your little thing that you got. Good for you, Lord Crust. Okay, well, that's the end of that segment. I mean, I've watched this video before, so I'm sure people who know me already know my thoughts on Birdie, but Birdie is a deep dive and a half. It's such a shame, though, really, because part of me, like, wants Birdie to come back just so I have free content to make, but, like, I also acknowledge that Birdie is not a good person either. It's, like, it's such a weird, like, dichotomy of stuff that's happening. I don't know. I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Ultimately, Birdie disappeared off the face of the internet, which is probably the smart thing to do.